Stations. It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stats Norsworthy.
Welcome in on this Thursday. We've had a respite from the rain for just a little bit anyway. And I was prepared to start this show talking about the ugliness, much like the way this morning was, the ugliness of the Grizzlies game last night. And we will talk about the ugliness of that game a little bit later. Should point out, by the way, that Brett Norsworthy off until Monday after the passing of his mother. Drew filling in, and Skylar is the producer of the show today. But this is why we love talk radio. We love how it can change so quickly. Little bit, maybe a half hour ago, maybe a little bit more, news comes around on the day of the NFL draft that Aaron Rodgers is so disgruntled, so disgusted, I believe was the term I saw in the story, with the way the Packers do business, he doesn't want to come back. Doesn't want to play for Green Bay. Wants out of his deal. In fact, apparently, the Packers have already made 2 or 3 trips to try to make peace in the family. As you see this story, and he picks today, draft day, to drop the bombshell. Interesting.
Very interesting timing.
Is it a power play, or is this sincerity? Letting them know so maybe they can make moves and try to get one of these quarterbacks, these 5 quarterbacks that are going to go in the first round. Is this sincere that he wants out, or is this a power play? Letting them know, get rid of me if you're not going to do what I want to do, because here's what I want to do, and we got to make a decision today. What do you think?
It seems pretty sincere to me. It seems that this is what he wants. I mean, if it wasn't what he wanted, he would have picked a different day than today to come out and say that he's so disgruntled, and apparently has been going all the way back from the reporting from Adam Schefter, all the way back to the last draft when they didn't consult him about moving up and getting Jordan Love from Utah State in last year's draft. So apparently he's been disgruntled for a long time. And, you know, I know the name of the game is championships, but when you're the reigning MVP, your team had a great regular season, made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, and you hosted that game, which obviously shows how good of a season you had. I don't know what situation he really thinks is better out there for him right now. I mean, sitting here at the age of ripe old age of 37 in the NFL, where he thinks he would find better success. Yes, they don't have the names as far as weapons go, but Rodgers has been able to play through that, and they've ultimately been able to win through all of that. And it seems that he's just kind of stuck in his ways, wants to be heard more, doesn't think that his opinion is taken as seriously as he would like it, and wants to leave.
Well, as you said, he's 37 years old. He's obviously tried the power play today because it is draft day, and they could make moves if they could. The Packers have sent President Mark Murphy, General Manager Brian Gutekunst, and head coach Matt LaFleur, each on separate trips to try to figure out exactly how they can make peace in the family. Apparently, the 49ers, who we know are going to draft a quarterback this evening, apparently what has now become big business, but the San Francisco 49ers are going to take Trey Lance. And this is amazing the way this new business is working with the FanDuels of the world. How and Bruce Marshall said this to us a couple of Fridays ago, how the draft has become a real magnet for gambling.
It has.
Well,
and when those odds start going down or up, then you kind of know what's going to happen.
Well, it's amazing. What is it now, minus 200, or maybe it's even more on Trey Lance becoming the quarterback that the San Francisco 49ers have earmarked for a while, and we're trying to play it very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But they, on Wednesday, actually called the Packers about trying to swing a deal. We already know the Rams did that back in January before they made the deal to get Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been going on for a long time. You're 37 years old. You probably have enough money to last.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Not only that, you just got married to an actress who's a pretty hot, and I don't mean in terms of good looking. She is good looking, but she is
a hot commodity.
A hot
commodity.
She's got all kinds of parts. She's making a lot of money too. So, and they're getting married, right? I don't know if they've gotten married
engaged.
or they're
engaged.
They
are scheduled to be married.
Okay. So they got a date?
We all know about scheduled marriages.
Well,
they don't always fall through.
That's true. Have they got a date?
I'm sure they do.
Okay. I don't know if maybe he just is so tired of the Packers and living in Green Bay and having to play in that cold weather that he's willing to either sit out a year or not play anymore. I really don't know. Let's face it. Aaron Rodgers has no relationship with his family. He's a different guy.
He is different.
And I can't read the tea leaves on this. The one thing, though, that sort of tells me it's a bit of a power play is that he did this on draft day. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I might think he's sincere. When you go back and you've had to send the general manager, the president, and your head coach on separate flights to go meet this guy, to try to figure out exactly how you can get him back in the fold. This is a problem that's been around for a while, but it's come to a head today, and now what happens with the Packers and this draft tonight? We will be...
And if you're the Packers, at this point with I'm guessing this news leaked from Aaron's crowd and from his sources and whatnot that he gives out to the NFL reporters, then if you're Green Bay and you've already made 3 separate trips, you've said publicly and privately since last year's draft that Aaron Rodgers is our guy. He's in the plan going forward. We're not trading him. If you're the Green Bay Packers, and by this point, you've got to be getting frustrated. You've got to be getting to the point where, all right, there might not be any fixing this relationship. And even if he does come back, I mean, what happens if we hit a 2-3 game slide? He's just going to lower his head, start pouting, and demanding a trade in the middle of the season. So you might as well, on draft night, when you can ultimately move up and get anybody that you want for a hot commodity like Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be shocked if it happens.
Well, his first sign of real unhappiness came last year when they, as you said, they did not consult with him and didn't get him the weapon that he wanted, which was available at the draft position, where they took the backup quarterback, Jordan Love. That was the beginning of it all. There's so many different things that play in here. The engagement to Shailene Woodley, that's one thing.
The Jeopardy hosting.
Well, that's the other. I was just bringing that.
Do full time.
You know what? I don't know their shooting schedule, but it's not like you go in Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah.
Now you go in, and there's 2 or 3 months out of the year that they do all that shooting.
Oh, they film like 3 shows a day.
Yeah. So, and there's 250 shows they're going to do in a year. So they shoot the thing in 3 or 4 months. So he could easily do that in the offseason of the NFL. I don't think that is an issue. I can't believe. First of all, I can't believe how many people want to be that. LeVar Burton, the guy who's been in a million roles, but I always think of him as the young Kunta Kinte in Roots, which was his first role for stardom. He wants it. He's had he's put out a social media campaign to try to get that job, and you got. There's 4 or 5 people that really want to replace Alex Trebek.
The list is longer than you'd expect.
It is amazing. I don't know if that comes into play here. I really don't. Maybe at 37 he's thinking, I'm the reigning MVP. I know we didn't get as far as we'd like last year, but my legacy is pretty good. I got a Super Bowl. I've been an MVP. If they're not going to play the way I want to play, I don't need this.
I mean, he's already a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer.
No question. No question he is. So I don't understand quite what this is. The timing makes you think power play, but who knows? Because he's a different kind of a cat. He is really, truly hard to figure out. Here's the lineup for today. And we will talk about this right off the bat with Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Bill has written a few things that I find very interesting. One, the 8 safest picks in this draft. I wonder if he's taken into account that Aaron Rodgers maybe he's in San Francisco before this is out if the Niners still want him. That would be the most interesting trade of all. If the Niners trade with the Packers, get Aaron Rodgers, that would be incredible. And you can mark them in as the NFC favorites if that is the case. So Bill Bender, the other thing Bill Bender wrote, which I thought was interesting, was about that Super League we were talking about. He's got 15 teams in his league, so that'll be interesting. He also, because there's a lot of rumors out there that the Chicago Bears are desperately trying to trade up to get Justin Fields. There seems to be, and I'm one of those people, I am not crazy about Ohio State quarterbacks, but our friend Bill Bender lives in Columbus, and he is saying, and we'll go over this with him, that Justin Fields will end the jinx for Ohio State quarterbacks. He thinks he's the real deal. So we'll get to the bottom of all of that. We will talk the ugliness of last night with the Grizzlies with Keith Smith from Yahoo. He comes your way at 4. We are going to analyze, and down the stretch they come with Paul Rogers, the voice of the Louisville Cardinals, who's I think been to the last 30 of the run for the Roses, and he will analyze what we've got going on. There's one very clear favorite. It's 2-1, but I think in the betting it's plus 500 I saw on that horse, on the favorite. Then at 5 o'clock, we will talk with Greg Gaston, a little talking Tigers, and then I must tell you, the Memphis Americans have returned. I mentioned this to you a couple of days ago. There was a press conference today. Andrew Haynes, who is an executive board member of both the league and of the Memphis Americans, the new edition of the Memphis Americans. Andrew Haynes will join us at 5:30 to talk a little bit about this new league that has men and women. Double headers, 12 home games, 12 games on the road. This new NISL, National Indoor Soccer League, will get updated on that at 5:30. And then we will have Crunch Time coming your way. That will take place at 5:50.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That is Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity April sales event. Great offers on all 2021 models and always great leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, you can't help but realize it was ugly last night at FedEx Forum. I mean, 130 points were given up. It's the second game in a row there was no defense whatsoever. And the experiment, which seemingly is bombing out with Justice Winslow, is not helping you. When he came in, I believe it was in the late in the first quarter, maybe it was even in the second quarter when second unit came in, the Grizzlies were down 7, and it quickly went to 15. I think it was late in the first quarter because they were down by 15 at the break. So that was probably exactly the case. Do you know what Justice Winslow's plus-minus was last night in 15 minutes?
I'm going to say had to been north of minus 15.
Keep going north.
20, 25.
24.
Ooh.
Minus 24 in 15 minutes? And you still aren't starting Jaren Jackson for whatever reason. He did play 25 minutes last night. So many people are talking about Dylan Brooks, who, by the way, was minus 22, but he played 25 or 26 minutes. But when you lose by 130, you give up 130 points, and you lose 130 to 109, most people are going to be minus on the team. People are mad that Dylan Brooks sort of said we want to sweep the Trailblazers after they beat them. And that obviously ended up being bulletin board material for the Trailblazers because they mentioned several times how they kicked their rear ends and that they didn't know better, which means, in my mind, they were talking about Dylan Brooks opening up his mouth about winning the 2 games and wanting to sweep them. I don't blame Dylan Brooks. What is he supposed to say? Oh, no, we want to lose.
They're really great guys. We should just throw them a bone. Give them one.
I mean, come on.
And anybody upset about Dylan Brooks poking the bear today after the loss, I guarantee you over the weekend was like, yeah, poke that bear. Poke it with a stick.
I think it is time to bring back Tyus Jones. The record with Winslow is 2-4 now. What he did last night, and I have nothing against him, and maybe you see him again, not as a backup point guard, but he clearly, even though he did, I thought for a minute might be getting a little bit more comfortable. I mean, it's pretty clear Tyus Jones has done a good job. Why you're demoting him, I guess you're trying to figure out if you want to spend the $13 million on Winslow, but are you going to do that at the expense of where your position is in the playoffs? That's what is mind-boggling to me.
That's the irritating part.
And I keep hearing all over the place, and this is just bugging me. Well, we're so much better than we thought we were going to be. Yeah, but you could be even better than that. You could have had the 6th position, be in the playoffs. Start to build that culture that is winning and confidence that comes from it. And all the experimentation in this Winslow bombing, minus 24 in 15 minutes. Now 2-4 is the record with him as your backup point guard. Not starting Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't get that. It's time, and I said this yesterday, is what I was looking for. End all of this, we're happy where we are. End all of this experimentation. Go for a place in the playoffs to see what you can really do.
Exactly. It goes back to what I asked Ron Tillery on Tuesday. Is it time to stop thinking we're ahead of schedule and let the schedule catch up to us? And instead of waiting around for the schedule to happen, we're ahead of schedule, move the schedule up. And our very own Peter Edmonston, I thought this was interesting, earlier today tweeted out some statistics on Justice Winslow. Over the last 22 games, he's averaged 19.9 minutes. He has a 20.9% USG, a 38.2 TS percentage. Going back at least 25 years, no one has ever put up such bad offensive numbers while playing so many minutes at that usage level. It's never happened in the last at least 25 years.
So those are the analytics that are beyond me.
They are beyond me, too. But apparently it's really bad.
But, I do understand plus-minus.
I do,
That
too.
means last night when Justice Winslow was in the game for just 15 minutes, the Grizzlies were outscored by 24.
Yes, that's what that means.
That is pretty evident to me. And also the other simple one. When he plays as a backup point guard, they've won 2 games in 8. That's 25% last time I looked. And yet as a team, when he wasn't playing, they're over 500. I think you need to take that into consideration. And I really would like better explanations from Taylor Jenkins than everything's going to be just fine. I know he knows. I think he's a good coach. I really do. I wish he would be a little bit more
Open instead of just.
I'm not even going to say open. He would just give explanation instead of
oh, it's
cliche.
fine. It's going to work itself out type of stuff.
I would really like to see explanation from the head coach.
Not top story of the day.
I guess it's this Aaron Rodgers thing because it's putting a little bit of a cloud on the draft. Now, who knows? Although it could add drama, honestly. Because now we're going to sit here and San Francisco goes third. Could there be a trade with the Niners, who we found out today placed a call last night to the Green Bay Packers? Could, because of the way he has come out today with the barrels ablazing, basically saying, I don't want to play for the Packers in 21, could that be to force this trade with San Francisco? Will there be that little followed by we have a trade from Roger Goodell tonight? It does make you want to watch the draft.
It really does. My not top story is the draft. The 2021 NFL draft begins tonight. Tonight, the lives of 32 young men and their families will be changed forever as they will find their new homes in the NFL over the next 3 days. We know a few things for certain. We know that we'll have 7 rounds. We'll know we'll have 259 players selected. We know Trevor Lawrence will go number 1 overall to the Jaguars. We know there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken in the first round. And other than that, everything else is up in the air. And that's the fun of the draft, the mystery of it.
And to also watch all the mocks and the people that did these mocks be wrong. And I loved it, the way last night Mike Keith sort of explained there are 4 or 5 players in all these mock drafts in the first round that have been redlined for medical reasons that no one can disclose, but the general managers of these teams know. And so there are guys in this mock draft going in the first round that'll drop to second or third or fourth, all because of medical issues that nobody knows about. And there's always going to be something where you're going, what? How did that happen? And that, I got a feeling, could happen a whole bunch tonight. So those are your top and your not top stories for today. We do invite you to head on over to Family Leisure. We're sitting in the Family Leisure studios, but to get the new pools, to get the spas in stock and they're ready for delivery, to get that new patio furniture, and some select sets of this state-of-art furniture is up to 20% off, or those wonderful play gyms. You can swing in the spring for your kids with that, and they've got professional installation that is available. All you got to do is get there. Family Leisure, I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun come together. We are officially underway. It'll be fun going to Columbus, Ohio in just a minute. We'll chat with the college football lead analyst for the Sporting News. That is Bill Bender. He comes your way in just a minute.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Hey, sports fans, if you're looking for auto body work for your car or truck, 3A Collision in Bartlett has you covered. We are factory certified with 13 different manufacturers, including GM, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Infiniti, Nissan, Acura, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, and Fiat. We're the only GM certified collision repair shop in the greater Memphis area. 3A Collision is proud to be voted Memphis Best Collision Repair by the Commercial Appeal 3 years in a row. 3A Collision specializes in performing proper repairs using specific manufacturer guidelines. We're a locally family-owned business, and we genuinely care about the well-being of our customers. Certified repairs are safe repairs. Why trust anyone but the best? At 3A Collision, no need for an appointment. We always have trained and courteous estimators available for you. 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. At 3A Collision, we're all about the best customer service and quality of our workmanship. 3A Collision, 6420 Summer Avenue.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789. Encore flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Corky's is your home for authentic Memphis barbecue. Our dining rooms are open, or stop by our speedy drive-thru. Order your party packs today, starting at only $5.99 per person.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stack. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Once again, a reminder, Brett off until Monday. Drew filling in. We go to Columbus, Ohio. In a matter of moments, I'll let you know, though, this portion of the show brought to you by the commissary. That draft starts at 7 o'clock tonight. So I have two different recommendations for you. I would not cook. I would either go to the Collierville commissary. That's Collierville, basically Houston, Levy Road, and Poplar in Collierville. I would go there. And they got plenty of space, and they got that little outdoor patio that's got a couple of TVs, so and they're pretty close. So you could really watch out there, drink your favorite beverage, and have all the ribs or the nachos or the tamales or the cheese and sausage plate or the pulled barbecue, whatever you wanted. Or I would go through their drive-through and do it that route and then take it home because you're too busy, too worried about the draft to have to cook tonight. Let the commissary do that. And if you don't want to go to the one in Collierville, you go to the original, the one in Germantown. Same menu. They'll do curbside for you there for the takeout. No problem, no issues. Hey, make it easy on yourself. Make it a commissary, Germantown or Collierville. Make it a commissary night on draft night. We do go to chat with our friend, the analyst of college football for the Sporting News, Bill Bender. Bill, we've missed you. It's been a while. Great that you could join us and give us some of your time. You've written a few stories I want to get into, but I got to start with the Aaron Rodgers thing. Is this sincere? Is this a power play? Will we see a trade with the Green Bay Packers and maybe the 49ers tonight? What do you think?
Maybe. I mean, there's got to be some fire with the smoke. He hasn't been happy since the end of the season. I don't know. Green Bay wasn't super aggressive in free agency, but was also under a little bit of a salary cap crunch. Hard to say. I mean, if they turn down the reported offer for the number 3 pick, it's going to take a lot for them to give him up. And, they could call Aaron Rodgers bluff at this point, but it's certainly not pretty.
No, it's not pretty, and it's not a pretty look for, I think, Green Bay or Aaron Rodgers himself. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out either tonight over the weekend or through the rest of the offseason. It's just going to have to wait and see. But for tonight in the draft, and a guy that's played not too far where you're probably sitting right now in Justin Fields, why has he been getting so much negative hype and so much hate going into this draft when I know he had a few bad games, but I mean, the dude did do what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to go out there and win, and that's what he did. And he shows that he has the talent to be a next level quarterback. So why the hesitant and kind of the shade thrown at Justin Fields?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, they attacked his work ethic, his one read, made it look like he was a one-read quarterback. There were some other things done. Obviously, he's managing epilepsy, too.
Yeah.
I still think he's the second-best rookie quarterback on the board. That's kind of helped to that. I like his talent. I like a lot of things about him. So, I mean, but I won't be surprised if he goes as the fifth quarterback on this board. So that's where we're at with Fields. I still think, if you just trust what you saw at Ohio State the last 2 years, you saw a really talented quarterback who didn't throw a lot of interceptions and made a lot of plays with his legs.
Well, you have written a story about that, and I'm curious about it because there's a lot of rumors that the Chicago Bears might be trading up to get, in particular, Justin Fields. There is this thing about Ohio State quarterbacks. They go to Haskins. They talk about him. Is this the best of those quarterbacks that have been that have come through the Ohio State system of late? And obviously you say he's the second best, so you believe in him?
Yeah, I do. And I mean, that could be a huge difference maker for the Buckeyes. Knowing that Mike Tomczak is the Ohio State quarterback in the Super Bowl era that has made the most starts in the NFL, and he wasn't even drafted. They're certainly in an interesting spot with that. I think Fields is a guy that could break that stigma. I mean, there's guys like Bobby Hoyne, Craig Krenzel, most recently Dwayne Haskins. They just didn't, for whatever reason, have much success in the NFL. And I think Justin Fields, if he does that, that would be a heck of a recruiting tool for Ryan Day, one of the best coaches out there right now in the college game, and then certainly has an offense with a ton of good NFL caliber receivers there in Columbus for years to come.
Another guy that I think that has been kind of controversial up into the draft of how well he'll translate to the NFL has obviously been Mac Jones out of Alabama. And one thing that you heard that I've heard a lot is, well, yeah, anybody could win throwing to Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith. Anybody can win in college football with NFL talent. Well, what do you think he's going to do with NFL talent in the NFL? That argument has never made sense to me. How do you see Mac Jones' career panning out in the National Football League?
Well, it is hard to evaluate knowing how good Alabama was. Like, they're probably going to have at least 5, maybe 6, possibly 7 first-round picks in the NFL draft. So, when you see that kind of talent, it almost comes as a penalty for Mac Jones for him to do the things that he's done. I do think he's a nice quarterback. I think he'll get a chance to lead a team and be that, kind of franchise guy. What he does with it, again, it's kind of the same thing I said about Justin Fields. It could be a thing that Nick Saban can use because, I mean, obviously you look at running backs, and there was a time there where Alabama running backs kind of fizzled in the NFL, and that's not the case anymore. From Derrick Henry to Josh Jacobs to Najee Harris, a guy that'll probably be a first-round pick this year.
He probably is the first running back in the draft. Etienne is probably second. I'm never going to take a back myself in the first round because of the devaluation of that position. But there are plenty that have actually both those guys possibly going in the first round. You mentioned Justin Fields would be 2. I'm assuming Trevor Lawrence is your number 1 quarterback. Rate the other 3.
Well, I mean, I'd go Zach Wilson after that, Mac Jones, and then Trey Lance. And there's a little bit of an unknown factor with Lance. Obviously a guy that has had some success, but, he hasn't played against a lot of high-level competition. I think he's kind of the guy that if you draft him, might be a little bit of a, I don't want to say project, but somebody that you can develop a little bit longer. The other guys would probably be expected to start right away if, as they get in there, especially Lawrence, Wilson, and Fields. So, that's how I would rank them. I think Kyle Trask will be the 6th quarterback taken. That may be in round 2 or round 3. We'll have to wait and see.
One thing that we do know in round 1 that it's going to be wide receiver heavy, and I think most people have Jamar Chase as the number 1 wide receiver off the board. But I saw where you wrote a story comparing Kyle Pitts to kind of a Megatron Calvin Johnson type of player at the tight end position. So if both of them were on the board and you were drafting, would you take Kyle Pitts or would you take Jamar Chase?
Probably Chase. I mean, I think Kyle Pitts, he's being compared to Calvin. I don't know. He's not Calvin. I mean, Calvin's a different player. I mean, I think the better comparison for Kyle Pitts would be Vernon Davis, who was like top 5 pick. And one of the things they brought up in that article is, in the history of the NFL draft, there's only been 3 tight ends make the Hall of Fame who were drafted in the first round, and that was Ozzie Newsome, Kellen Winslow, and Tony Gonzalez. And Kyle Pitts is certainly a talented guy. He can be a big-time difference maker at this level. I don't know if I'd spend a top 5 pick on him, though. And at the same time, if you have an offense, that could be like Dallas's splash pick. Dallas already has all these things on offense, and if they add a guy like Kyle Pitts to that, I mean, that would create a lot of excitement around the Cowboys heading into 2021.
You wrote an interesting story, the safest picks in this draft. Who are they?
I mean, there's, a lot of them are opt-outs. Guys like Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, Gregory Rousseau, Jamar Chase would be another one that I think, opting out didn't necessarily hurt these guys. I think Trevor Lawrence is still the safest quarterback, because if you don't draft Trevor Lawrence, you set yourself up for ridicule for possibly the next 25 to 50 years if he's who we think he's going to be. I think those are the tackles are guys that certainly stand out. I think J.C. Horn, there's a cornerback out of South Carolina that's moved up the draft board. I think he's pretty safe. And that's pretty much it. I mean, safe is hard to come by, especially in a year where they didn't have a combine. Tough to evaluate guys, but, I guess you're never really safe. But that's a handful of guys on that list that I think probably come in right away, contribute, start, and go from there.
Well, since you have kind of safest picks in the draft, who's a first-round prospect do you think that probably be the riskiest pick?
Well, I've seen Micah Parsons go up and down the draft board. I think he's high reward. There's some people that think he's not in that kind of class. So he would be one that might be a little risky. I mean, with receivers, you never know. Opinions vary on Devontae Smith. I think he's a guy that'll be pretty darn good at the next level, especially with his route running. But that Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle debate's very real, and I guess it's kind of a team-specific thing. You're going to draft the receiver that fits your offense the best.
Away from the draft, you wrote an interesting piece, I thought, and we're talking with our friend Bill Bender from the Sporting News about the Super League. Well, we saw the European Football Super League go down like in 2 days in big flames. But there has been discussion. You've got a 15-team Super League out of the Power 5. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I mean, we had fun with that like everybody else last week. And the way I ranked mine was I used 4 categories. I used their record the last 4 years, the last 15 schools to win a national championship, the top 15 revenue-producing schools, because, let's be honest, if they create a Super League, money wouldn't matter. And then how many NFL draft picks they produced over the last 10 years. I think those 4 things you come up with. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I really liked our list. I mean, Nebraska, Tennessee, and Oregon were out. People might object to Miami or Penn State or Texas or Michigan being in, but Texas and Michigan are 1 and 3 in revenue, and they're going to create a big money league. The big money schools are going to be there regardless, kind of how they're doing on the field.
So go over it. Obviously, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama. You mentioned Texas, Michigan. Who else?
I think Georgia, all 3 Florida schools, Florida, Miami, Florida State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Penn State. USC was the only Pac-12 team in that league. But Auburn also. So it had 5 SEC schools, all 3 Florida schools. They're well represented from that standpoint. Oklahoma obviously in there as well. So, I mean, if they ever did something like that, and they won't, but I mean, those are the programs that generate the most page views, generate the most money. If they extend this playoff to 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 teams, the goal would be to get as many of those programs in your playoff, because you'll make more money that way.
Yeah, money talks, and you're right when you talk about Texas and mostly Texas. I don't want to throw Michigan in there. I mean, obviously haven't lived up to the hype, but hasn't been too terribly bad over the last few years. But money talks, and if you got enough money, you can pretty much buy yourself into any league that you want, though. Bill, with it being spring and obviously still quite a ways from the start of college football season, has there anything that's jumped out to you around any spring games through college football the last couple of weeks?
I mean, Oklahoma looked good. They looked like they were ready to maybe make a run with the offense they've got. They've improved their defense a little bit with some of the guys they have there, and they might be ready to make that push for a potential national championship run. I mean, other than that, it's just nice to have those spring games, and nothing much to it. I think they're just getting back in the routine of having those games and maybe trying to give fans in the stands and get a more normal, uniform college football season next year. And I'm all for that. I mean, but I guess the biggest question for schools like Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson, they're replacing guys that are going to get drafted tonight. So, and when you have those superpowers, whether it's C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young or DJ Uiagalelei, I mean, we're going to find out what those guys are all about.
Speaking of replacing players, I have to ask you the transfer portal, because that's been a big story absolutely everywhere in both football and in basketball. But for football, who, in your mind, has won the transfer portal this year?
I'm sorry that you cut out there.
Who has won the transfer portal this year?
Well, I mean, Tennessee didn't. They had a lot of guys leave, but I mean, Joe Milton will be an interesting guy to come in, and
yeah, I
think that's got to spread out a little bit. I don't think anybody's really won or lost. There haven't been a lot of big name quarterbacks that have come and gone, so those are kind of the names I'm looking at. But certainly something to watch. I mean, a lot of guys are going to come and go now that thing's a little more open than it used to be.
No doubt. My friend, it's great chatting with you. Enjoy the draft tonight, and I know we'll talk to you in the next few weeks.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you. That's Bill Bender from the Sporting News. This portion of the show is brought to you by Memphis Public Golf. I drove by Galloway yesterday. My goodness, it's greening up. It looks incredible. I played Fox Meadows last week. It's starting to get in shape. People underestimate the challenge and the cool layout of Fox Meadows. It used to be a country club. Then there's Audubon right in the middle. And I want to let everybody know there will be more championships this year with public golf than we've ever had before. There'll be a championship for Galloway, for Audubon, for Fox Meadows, and for Pine Hill. And by the way, when fall hits, wait till you see what they're going to do with Pine Hill. They're going to redo Pine Hill much the way they did that total redo of Galloway several years ago. There'll be a new clubhouse and a new configuration of holes. You're going to love it. And right now, we've got a renovation going on at Overton Park, a $2 million renovation. All that money was basically donated to the cause. And the course that so many of us grew up on, that course will have a totally different look by the time fall hits. And if you want your kids to get into the game, there will be all kinds of golf camps at Whitehaven all summer long. Go to the website, Memphis Public Golf, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't been on a public golf course in the last couple of years, you need to go see what's going on. They are outstanding. A Memphis sporting tradition for over 100 years. City Golf and the city of Memphis. Back with a wrap of this very first hour in just a minute. This is Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
Hey everybody, summer road trips are coming, and I'm out here in Olive Branch driving all the new Silverados, Tahoes, and Equinox at All Star Chevrolet. You gotta drive the new Blazer or the third row seat Traverses. Thousands in cash back and financing as good as 0 for 72. And All Star Chevy has dozens of demos for sale. The now famous best deal in town. And hey, if you want to sell your Chevy, car, truck, or SUV, bring it to All Star Chevrolet and get the check today. They'll beat any legitimate offer you get by a a lot. That's any 2015 to 2021 with less than 75,000 miles. And the certified Chevy pre-owned lot is packed. But our friends at All-Star Chevy want more. So bring yours with title and you'll get your check today. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, not Covington Pike, not Collierville or South Haven. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevrolet has one job, just one job, to make sure that you have more fun, get the best deal, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Attention foodies, there's a great new place to eat in a great restored building. South Hall Cafe is now open for breakfast, brunch, and lunch in the former Tobacco Corner. Chef Jesus Ramon is creating classics from scratch with a twist. Enjoy all your favorites, including the best cheese grits in the South, a full bar, an in-house pastry chef, catering, online ordering for curbside or delivery, and a covered patio with live music on the weekends. We're open 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. weekdays and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends. South Hall Cafe, corner of Poplar and Mendenhall.
Golf fans, breaking news. Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View Friday, April 30th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Join Sports 56 Middays and Sports 56 Happy Hour as we give away tons of door prizes, including golf lesson gift cards and free rounds of golf, including cart. Check out Cypress View's new food menu as well. From Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, homemade fresh hand-patty burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. So come hungry. Again, Sports 56 fans, come see us at Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas, Friday, April 30th from 10 until 3. Enjoy live sports talk, food, fun, and lots of door prizes. Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait. Me, Greg, Johnny, we look forward to seeing you there.
You ready for a new ride? We Gossett and Gossett Kia Covington Pike, and Bobby J is the man to put you in a new Kia today. It's less than $5 a day. 2021 Kia Forte, $129 a month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Find your soulmate with 2021 Kia Soul, $159 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. And 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $3,099 due at signing. All 36-month leases. Plus, peace of mind you can trust with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we Gossett and Gossett Motor Cars.
36-month leases, 0 security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655. Sold M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725. 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
So we all agree the big story today, the draft. Now it's the Aaron Rodgers story and what will happen, and will there be a trade, and will the Packers make a move and maybe try to get one of these 5 young quarterbacks. That'll be fun to watch. It starts at 7. There's another story. We know for sure the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to get their quarterback. They're not making any trades. They're taking Trevor Lawrence, and Urban Meyer should have a pretty good quarterback. But there is another guy who tried out for the team today. Have you seen this story,
Yes,
Drew?
and I love it. Love it. 100% on board.
Tebow tried out for the team today, but not under center. He tried out as a tight end. And, you think about it, he's 33 now. I guess now or never, right?
Exactly.
So he's
tried the baseball thing, didn't really work out.
He's interesting. He basically went from the NFL, and he had a couple of years, won a playoff game, wasn't a good enough passer to be a quarterback in the National Football League. Then he went to be an announcer. Well, that wasn't enough of a rush for him. He wanted to compete. So he tried becoming a minor leaguer in baseball, and he did an okay job with the Mets.
Nobody was
I
ever thinking he was going to even have a cup of coffee in the bigs, but
right. Well, I think the fact that he lasted was a couple of years, right? That he ended up hitting 230, something like that. Is a double A guy. I think that is better than most people thought he would be able to do. I'm not sure if he wasn't Tim Tebow that he would have been on the team, but the numbers were good enough
to justify keeping him.
Yes, absolutely. But then he retired from that, and, he could probably sit back, become a motivational speaker, try to get back into TV. I think he's still doing some SEC Network, right?
Yeah, he still does the SEC Network's version of Game Day.
Okay, so he's still doing some of that. And he could just probably sit back, and he gets plenty of money for speeches.
Oh, yeah.
And I know he goes on the religious circuit, and they pay big good.
And I'm pretty sure his wife, the former Miss Universe, isn't hurting too bad either.
I have no idea about her background, but I know his is plenty good. But he's trying to get back in the game. I give him credit for that.
I love it. I mean, if Jacksonville's willing to take a shot on it, then let's do it. I mean, I love Tim Tebow. I've always loved how he plays, the passion that he shows, and ultimately it's easy to root for a really nice guy. And Tim Tebow is a really nice guy. So I'm all for it. I think that there are things that Tim Tebow could mentor, could teach a young Trevor Lawrence. Maybe it's not how to throw the deep ball. Maybe it's not how to have the perfect throwing mechanics, because we know Tim Tebow liked to do a baseball windup. But there are other things that go into being a professional athlete and to being somebody that is recognized not just in their hometown, but throughout the country and throughout the world. And a guy like Tim Tebow can mentor him on that type of front.
Well,
and you're exactly right. Winning. I mean, Tim Tebow did win. Regardless of his statistics, he did win in the NFL.
I don't think I'd bring him in to be a mentor of any kind. I'd bring him in to be a teammate. I don't believe, if you look at the footwork and the release and the arm strength of Trevor Lawrence, that Tim Tebow is going to teach him much at all.
Not on the football side, but on the being a professional type of side, to help the young man not make as many mistakes as we see a lot of 21, 22-year-olds make when they all of a sudden become multimillionaires.
I would just want him there to catch the big pass that on the second or third read Lawrence might be making. Because you got to figure if it's anywhere near him, he's going to figure out a way to get it and make the big play. I do kind of believe that. There is no word, though, at all on how he did in that workout. I've not seen anything. So I would think if it had really been a wow thing, we probably would have heard a little bit more about that. But the fact is, it's a good story, and I give Tebow a lot of credit because he does not need, honestly.
He doesn't need the money. He's going out there to play for the love of the game,
right.
I love that.
I like that, too. I really do. I'll tell you what else I like. I love Tiger Tail. That's that new Grind City Brewing craft malt liquor. It is the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. It has taken this city by storm. It really has. I love the whole concept of Grind City Brewing. If you haven't been to their brewery in Uptown, it's really a cool place. A beautiful 5,000 square foot tap room. Plenty of wonderful products that this father and son duo have come up with. But this craft malt liquor is outstanding. It is not your father's or your grandfather's malt liquor, I promise you. And it's so good now, you can get it in Kroger's. It started where you could only get it in the brewery in Uptown, then it went to different spirit shops, and now here it is in Kroger. It comes in 16-ounce six-packs. It's got this bold, smooth flavor and unbelievable finish. It makes it easy drinking, but be careful. It does have 7.5% alcohol. You're going to love it. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing taking care of beerness in Memphis. That's an hour in the books. When we come back, we'll talk about the ugliness of last night, the Grizzlies and Portland, and what Keith Smith from Yahoo Sports down in Orlando thinks about all of that. He comes your way in just a minute.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG, or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5, built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344-837, MSRP $20,655, Soul M777-2135, MSRP $21,130, K5 MG 005560, MSRP $25,725, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021, dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome in. A couple of stories brewing on this Thursday afternoon with actual sunshine out there after a nasty, ugly kind of morning. It was absolutely very ugly. At FedEx Forum last night, we're going to Orlando and talk to our friend from Yahoo on the NBA, Keith Smith, in just a minute. The other story, obviously, is the NFL draft taking place tonight. I think you can watch that on ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network, all three.
Yes, all three.
Mean, we love the draft, don't we? I mean, it's pretty obvious that we absolutely love the draft. Now there's even more drama because if you haven't heard, about an hour and a half ago or so, Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer, reigning NFL MVP, has said, I don't want to play for the Green Bay Packers. We'll see if there are trades tonight from that. In the meantime, let's go down and talk to our friend Keith Smith. It was ugly in FedEx Forum last night, and the Grizzlies and Taylor Jenkins continue the experimentation. I think some fans are sort of saddened by it because they would like to see a team that could have been in sixth place in the Western Conference now still tied for eighth, but very close to 10th, and the play-in position that is vicarious and they continue not to start Jaren Jackson Jr., and they continue this Justice Winslow backup point guard experiment that has gone totally south. Keith, give us your sense of what you've watched the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good wrap-up. I can understand the Jaren Jackson Jr. part. I think they're still trying to do what they can to control his minutes. That's always easier when a guy comes off the bench. That gives you that opportunity to really limit when you want to put him in. And I think that's what they're trying to do there. The Justice Winslow part, it's one of those things. Miami had great success with him running the point at various times, but they always had to make sure that they had another good ball handler on the floor with him. So I called it kind of point guard-ish. He wasn't necessarily the main engine there, where I think Memphis has kind of defaulted a little bit to, oh, you're going to run this thing. I know DeAnthony Melton's out there with him a lot, but they're making sure Winslow gets it. And that one, I don't know that this is the time to really be experimenting unless the organizational philosophy is, we're in the play-in anyway, so let's do what we got and let's try to help inform our decision-making for this offseason in years to come.
Keith, I don't have the numbers from me in front of me right now, but our very own Peter Edmiston had tweeted out earlier today about the uses of Justice Winslow and the amount of time that he spent on the floor, and his offensive numbers are historically bad. If you're the Grizzlies front office, are you starting to wonder about the Jay Crowder Justice Winslow trade, especially for, Jay Crowder's had a great year out in Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm wondering about that necessarily, because I don't know that Jay Crowder was going to have a place for very long in Memphis. I think he has proven that his best position is as a small ball four for a team around a big. And Memphis has a lot of other guys that can fill that role and other guys who play more traditional four. So I think that would have pushed Crowder to the three, where he's not quite as good. So you're not questioning that. But what I do think they're questioning is, all right, we did not invest all that much to go get Justice Winslow. So where are we at with this team option for next year? Because if they decline it, all of a sudden they have a little bit of spending power in a free agent class that's not great, but it's also short on teams with cap space. So they could get in there and maybe get a player or two who could really help round out their rotation. Or do you pick that up and say, all right, we're going to give this one more shot and roll this thing forward? But I think there's more uncertainty there versus looking back. What's done is done.
I would just say this. As a starting or as your number 2 point guard, backing up Ja, dumping Tyus Jones, who had done, I think, a pretty good job. And I'm not going to say he was lighting it on fire the last few weeks, because he wasn't. That opened the door, I think, for Winslow to get this shot. But he's 2-4 as a starting or as the backup point guard. So he's that's 2 wins in 6 games, 33%. That's not very good. And last night, in 15 minutes, he was minus 24. Now, look, everybody was minus in that game. Even Dylan Brooks, I believe, was minus 21 or 22 in the 25 minutes that he played the game. But I think you've come to that realization that that's not the position for him. Where do you use him? I wouldn't pick up that option, would you?
Yeah, I think what you're looking at with Justice Winslow is he has not shot it well enough to play off the ball. So in order to get any kind of real value from him offensively, you have to have the ball in his hands, or then he's just kind of floating around the inside. And that's, the territory where Valanciunas lives, Clark lives, Jaren Jackson Jr. does some pretty good work down there. Kyle Anderson can work inside there as well. So what you're looking at with those guys is, all right, well, what do we want to do with Winslow then? And that's where, for me, I think, had you given up a whole bunch to go get Justice Winslow, and they didn't. It really wasn't all that big of an investment. Then what I look at is I would say, well, you know what? Let's just let it go. I'd rather have the cap space, because even if worse comes to worse and nothing else materializes, you can always re-sign him via that avenue as well, to what might be a little bit more of a team-friendly type of contract. But, yeah, I would lean towards declining that team option and keeping a lot more flexibility open.
You talk about having some cap space in a year where a lot of teams wouldn't have cap space. Who are some guys out there as free agents in the offseason that Grizzlies fans can kind of keep an eye on that could ultimately wind up in the Bluff City next year?
Yeah, I think that's your a little bit of your challenge is this is not a very good free agent class. It's pretty weak more than anything. So I think what you're kind of looking at if you're the Grizzlies is it's role players, but I think that's okay. I think that's what they need. It'd be great to go get another star and pair him with Jackson and with Morant and those guys, and hopefully those are your guys. But I just don't know that type of player is there. But they're good quality role players. You could go get another scoring guard, a point guard who can do a little bit of creation both ways. That's coming off the bench. There's guys like that. There's a lot of big man depth. I think they could use another true big man, especially with Valanciunas coming up fairly soon contract-wise. So I think you're in a position where if you're Memphis, that flexibility created, it's not going to get you a star player, but you can get good role players that can help you roster-wise down the line.
I think when we talked with you about this earlier, in the last couple of weeks, I should say, I think you felt that the Grizzlies would end up out of the top 8. I don't remember if you said 9 or if you said 10. As you've seen what's developed here of late, and the Grizzlies seem very okay with not finishing 6, 7, or 8, but going down to 9 or 10 by the way they've experimented in this time frame, and everybody's making excuses for them. They're all saying, well, they're way ahead of schedule anyway. I mean, but if you were there and you had 6 in your grasp, I don't get that attitude, but nonetheless, that is there. Where do you think they finish now? Let's face it, they're tied with the Spurs for 8, and the Warriors are only, half a game behind.
Yeah, so what's out now is catching Dallas for 6. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's the final assured playoff spot. There's no way. Even with Portland, with the loss last night, that's a decent it sounds like it's not that many games, but when you start looking at the schedule and there's only 9, 10, 11 games left, it starts to be like, wow, that starts to get a little tough to make up. So I think what you want to do is you really want to push, because I would think you would much rather be in the 8th spot than in the 9 or 10 spot, because then you have at least that buffer that if you lose a game, you only have to win 1, and you're going to host that second game if you lose the first game. So I think that is, something that becomes important, but it's really tough, because I think what will happen is I think they have a chance to stay ahead of San Antonio. They're kind of facing that same tough schedule the rest of the way. And the Warriors, it's so hard with them because there's weeks where it's like, oh man, Steph's going to carry this team. They might even get into the playoffs and be a little bit interesting. And then there's other times you watch the Warriors play and it's like, goodness, this team stinks. They might lose by 50. So that part gets a little tough. So I think Memphis may flip a spot and be in the 9-10, but it would not surprise me if they're in the 8th spot. No, when it's all is said and done.
Yeah, the Warriors are there. Go figure them out. I mean, I thought here's Steph and Draymond Green is healthy again, and they're starting to make their move. And then the way they played at home against Dallas the other night, that was a setback, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and they just don't have any depth. That's their single biggest problem. They cannot win games if Steph is not kind of MVP caliber Stephen Curry. He has to go out there and score 30-plus, hit a bunch of three-pointers, force the entire defense to bend his way. Andrew Wiggins has had a nice year, but this is, year umpteen, it feels like, of Andrew Wiggins is, getting the quietest, 25 points per game you could ever imagine. And then Draymond Green is still remains one of the preeminent playmaking big men in the league, but he's absolutely no threat to score at all. He's missed, I want to say it's 3 or 4 times this year, triple doubles by points, which is not something you generally expect to see. So they just don't have it if it's not Steph leading the way. And then their defense beyond Green is very hit or miss against against teams that lack offensive talent. They can kind of get it done. So you got to get against anybody who's pretty good defense or offensively. Their defense just isn't what it once was.
Another team that's been kind of puzzling all year, and right now they still are holding on to a playoff spot at the 6th seed, but are tied with Miami, a team that you cover very in-depthly. The Boston Celtics, I just the names on that team, the talent, you think that they would be a shoe-in for a top 4 seed, but it just hasn't worked. And then Tuesday with Marcus Smart's suspension, has it come out exactly what he said or what he alluded to? And if he did, can you say it on FCC Airways?
I don't know if it was cussing. It was threatening. That's what they said to a referee. What do you know about that, Keith Smith?
Yeah, I don't know what he said. I'm sure it's not anything I would repeat anyway, just in case my mom is listening. She wouldn't like that very much. But yeah, it definitely wasn't good. And there were multiple people who heard, if not the exact terminology, it was the way things were said. He went at the official several times in the game. It was a little surprising he didn't get thrown out of the game itself. And then he was really having issues, apparently, as the game ended and then all the way back into the locker room areas. So that's an issue. You love Marcus Smart for his competitiveness, but sometimes it crosses the line. As far as the Celtics themselves go, the only thing consistent about them this year has been their inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
They have missed 167 games due to the health and safety protocols. That is, I believe, 10 or 15 games more than the next closest team. That is more games than the bottom 11 or 12 teams have missed combined this year. So every time they get a player back, they lose another player. And these are not rolled an ankle and he's out for 2 games. These are an injury that sidelines the guy for a week or 2 at a time. So it has been really a challenge for them to find any sort of rhythm. When they do get there, they look very, very good. They play quite well. They get everything looking good. On their best nights, they can beat any single team in the NBA. It looks like they can. On their worst nights, it looks like they're a team that's going to struggle to even get into the playoffs. They'll get there. How long they stay, that's a whole other question.
So would you say because of all those injuries, and I don't know that the average basketball fan is aware of that. A lot of people think Brad Stevens is going to be in the hot seat because of the way this year has played out. But because of that explanation, he does get another year next year without a question, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And even beyond that, he's going to get more time. Brad Stevens just signed an extension before the bubble started. So, and Danny Ainge, I believe the other day on the radio, without going through terms and exact terms, if there's options or other things, said Stevens is under contract for the next 6 years. So I think that included this year and then 5 years beyond that. They have done longer than usual contracts with him each time he's been up. Beyond that, both Danny Ainge and Wick Grousbeck, who's the primary governor of the team, has said multiple times, this is not a Brad Stevens problem. This is a roster issue, the way the team was put together. Ainge has owned that they're extremely young. And then he has also said, multiple times, they're not using the injuries as an excuse, but as a reason. So it is to the point now where as you look at this team, no one is putting any kind of blame on Brad Stevens. They're all leaving it to, all right, we're going to play this thing out, and then we're going to regroup next year and see if we can get back at it in a better place.
Keith, what are your thoughts on the Zion Williamson no call last night? And I liked how he responded. Basically just got to build up that respect. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I loved his response. From that, he's not going to use that as blame and those kind of things. I think that's great from the player. That said, I thought it was a clean block watching it live. I also wasn't feet away from the play as the under the rim official was. Once I saw the replay and saw it from that same angle, I don't know how you missed that call. Clearly came right across the arm, and then he got him in the head too. And in this new era of the NBA, it feels like any contact to the head is we have a 10-minute review and decide if the guy should go to prison or not at the end of it. So it's really become a point where I don't know how you miss that. I generally am in favor of let them play at the end of game. Let the players decide it versus a call. But when it's that blatant, you have to make that call. You can't miss that one.
But let's go back to what he said, because I think that bothers me about the NBA. I'm not going to bash officials, because I think for the most part they're good.
Mm.
They really are. But there is a system, caste system, star system, however you want to put it, that Zion was referring to, where, okay, in a couple of years, I guess I'm going to get that call. A call is what the call should be, right? If it's Michael Jordan or John Morant, Zion Williamson, or Justice Winslow or Tyus Jones, if it's a foul, it's a foul. I don't understand that, but it seems to me it's there, especially when you get a guy who could have been complaining about it, saying, well, I guess I got to wait my turn.
Yeah, absolutely, and you're spot on, and it's been that way, since I started watching the league. When I was a little guy, it's always been the stars get the calls, and the other guys don't get calls. I mean, I grew up with a family who hated the fact that, I still think to this day they don't think Magic Johnson or James Worthy or Kareem has ever been fouled in their life by the Celtics. When Kevin McHale clotheslined Kurt Rambis into the front row of the seats, that was a clean play, just a little bit of contact there. So it's so I get it from that standpoint. What bothers me at times is when it's absolutely blatant, like that was. That's not okay. You have to make that call. I also don't like when, if it's a foul in the first quarter, it's a foul in the fourth quarter. My single biggest pet peeve right now with officiating, I have two that are tied at the top. One is no one has any idea what continuation is. Nobody at all. That's just a guess from game to game. And then the second is when a player goes to the basket, they wait to see if the shot goes in before calling the foul or not. If it's a foul, it's a foul. It doesn't need to be legislated if it goes in or not. So, that said, anybody who says the NBA officials are the worst, all I want them to do is go watch a college game for about 15 minutes and then come back to me and let me know how you feel about NBA officials.
No. I'm with you there. I am definitely with you on that, and I watch a lot of college basketball. We touched on this a little bit last week, but the Suns clinched their first postseason berth in 11 years, which is hard to fathom, but it is the case. And we got to talk about Chris Paul. I'm not sure we mentioned him last night or last week. We were talking MVPs, but certainly he's got to be in the discussion. This is one of the great turnarounds in the history of the game.
Yeah, it is. I think we're getting into this point when we discuss the NBA where it's starting to turn into, because so much of this discussion plays out across social media, where praising one player means you're criticizing another. Or, in order to praise a player, you have to believe they're an MVP candidate. And that means, that. For me, Chris Paul has had a fantastic season. He's had an all-NBA season. But if he's going to be on an MVP ballot, he's probably going to be, fourth, maybe even fifth, behind a couple of other guys. Because I think you've had a couple guys, specifically with Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, who have really set themselves apart from everybody else with that. That's not meant to, say anything bad about Chris Paul. I love his season. I love what he's had. And I think if you went back and asked Chris Paul at this point, he would say, hey, getting this team to the playoffs, he's beloved now in Phoenix. If he leaves at the end of this season, he's never going to buy a drink again in Phoenix because they're going to love him forever. That's going to mean more to him, especially if they have some playoff success beyond any kind of individual awards.
Staying out in the West, and obviously the Lakers are dealing with a lot of stuff right now. Obviously, LeBron's still out. Will they survive in the 5 seed throughout the rest of the season if LeBron doesn't return?
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. And now we're at a point where it looks like LeBron may not be back until, there's only 5 or 6 games to go in the season. And what I had really looked at with that Lakers team was I thought they needed to be in a position where they were going to get their guys back and try to get in rhythm and play that out and get there. And now they're going to have to do quite a bit of that on the fly in the playoffs. If they were the 1 or 2 seed, you can pull that off. You can figure that out. If you're playing from the 5 seed, that's a lot more difficult. It's starting to look like they're going to get the Denver Nuggets in the first round, and it would still, I guess, surprise me if they went out in the first round, but I would not be, completely shocked and saying, I can't believe that happened. There's no way, that ever could have happened. So it is going to be one of those things I think is very, very interesting. That said, anytime I've ever picked against LeBron James, I've looked pretty dumb. So I don't know that I'm quite ready to make that prediction once again.
Well, everything I've seen, Bleacher Report says he's close. Dennis Schroeder said he was, I think, coming back soon. I'm trying to remember his age. You don't heal that quickly, especially if you've been off. It takes a while to get NBA wind. Can he be 100% by the time the playoffs begin?
My guess is he'll be pretty close because I think of the length of time he has been held out for is what will get him close to being 100%. I think that's why they held him out for as long as they did. But you're absolutely right. It's, this guy has been, the Iron Man among Iron Men. He only really kind of sits out when the team either makes him or he's like, I'm good today. Injury-wise, he hasn't had a significant injury in years. So it's been one of those things where you watch him, at this point, are we finally getting, some signs that he's human and that it is going to, this is closer to the end than it has ever seemed before. Those are things I'm wondering, but I do think he will be 100% because I don't think they would bring him back, or I think they would have brought him back earlier if there was any risk of him not being 100%. I think what they did was held him out for as long as they could to make sure that's where he's at. But that is different. 100% health and win is different from being in rhythm to go out there and win playoff games. And that team is so reliant on him that it may take a while for him to get there.
Well, the one thing I would think with Davis and he playing together for, they did get a title, that you don't have to worry about their chemistry. They're all going to figure that out, and they're going to be just fine if indeed they're both healthy enough to go. If they are, as you say, 100%, are they the favorites once they get to the playoffs?
Yeah, I put them, the Clippers, the Jazz, and the Suns all even odds. I'd give them all 25% chance of getting out of the West. I would add the Nuggets in there and split that 5 ways and 20% each. I'm just a little worried about Denver's shot creation ability in the postseason when they don't have Jamal Murray. I'm worried about how they're going to do against the very best defenses. But, yeah, I think the Lakers are right there because that's how much I respect LeBron James and Anthony Davis in their ability as players. I think that they do have a chance to get there and lift their teams past those teams, especially since those teams have some questions of their own. But I don't think it's going to be kind of the run-through like it was last season. I think they're going to have to really, really work for this one.
He is Keith Smith. He writes for Yahoo Sports on the NBA. We visit with him every week. Again, thank you, and we'll do this again in 7 days.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
That is Keith Smith, brought to you by the good folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai, and that's Genesis of Olive Branch. Same building. They are our presenting sponsor. They have been with us for a long time. I've watched them grow, and they're growing even more. They're actually increasing the size of the showroom, and they're putting such an emphasis on Genesis. And I can understand why. Genesis is the best luxury car for your dollar going right now. All the automotive experts in these publications, they all seem to agree. That SUV, well, it's taken the world by storm. The GV80 from Genesis is almost impossible to get because they only made so many, and there is such a demand. As soon as Genesis of Olive Branch gets one, it's gone, except for the demo. So if you would like to test drive it, go see my guy, Vinny Gerard. And if you can't get the GV80, there's G70s. I've got one of those, the best performing car, fastest car I've ever had. The G80, the midsize sedan. Then there's the larger one, the G90. That ride is so smooth. It is incredible. And you know how durable all the Hyundais and the Genesis cars are. You get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty with every new car, and it's all about service at Genesis of Olive Branch and Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True. That's his baby. That's why every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. They'll change your oil. They'll rotate your tires. They'll do everything you can to take care of you. That's the way they operate at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Been looking forward to this for a couple of weeks. The Kentucky Derby is on Saturday. The 147th Run for the Roses. A guy who's seen a bunch of them, not 147, but that is Paul Rogers, the voice of Louisville. He'll join us to handicap Saturday's big race. He comes your way in just a minute.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Jeff Allen, my man, what's happening over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
All I can say, Randy, it's the right time to buy your new Kia at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. I've got a 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG or $129 a month lease, just $31.99 due at signing. And a 2021 Kia Soul, $159 per month lease, $30.99 due at signing.
And I see you got 2021 Kia K5 built in America, $184 a month lease, $30.99 due at signing. They're all 36-month leases.
Plus our industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Senatobia, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, zero security deposit, $650 acquisition fee, Forte, ME344,837, MSRP $20,655. Sold M777, $2135, MSRP $21,130. K5, MG 005560, MSRP $25,725. 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives, PF $695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2021. Dealer stock only.
Golf fans, breaking news. Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View Friday, April 30th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Join Sports 56 Middays and Sports 56 Happy Hour as we give away tons of door prizes, including golf lesson gift cards and free rounds of golf, including cart. Check out Cypress View's new food menu as well. From Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. So come hungry. Again, Sports 56 fans, come see us at Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas, Friday, April 30th from 10 until 3. Enjoy live sports talk, food, fun, and lots of door prizes. Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait. Me, Greg, Johnny, we look forward to seeing you there.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
The Jeep Celebration and Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500 X-Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240. Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860. 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Rob Brown. Join us every Saturday morning on Sports 56 WHBQ from 8 to 10 a.m. and 96.1 FM and the new FM 98.5. We'll be covering the Memphis Tigers, the SEC, college football, college basketball, college baseball. We'll look into recruiting. We'll have guests from around the country with the latest news, the most knowledgeable people out there, the coaches, the players, the people who play the games. Don't forget to join us on the sidelines. Sports 56, 96.1, and the new FM 98.5.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Olshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Once again, Brett off until Monday to Louisville. We will go in a minute, and we will get our handicapper, our friend Paul Rogers. He will lay out what's going to happen in the 147th running of the Kentucky Derby. This portion of the show brought to you by Sheldon. You know, when people talk about real estate, they say when you want the job done, you got to call Sheldon. That's Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. Now, the hottest new listing that he and Kelly Erb just placed on the market, I mean just placed on the market, is on 1 acre right in the heart of East Memphis at 4810 Shady Grove at the corner of Colonial. Why is it hot? Well, it's in an area of much more expensive homes. It's a classic one-story traditional, waiting for your personal touch to make it your dream home. So whether you live in East Memphis, Germantown, downtown, midtown, wherever, if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to a couple of real estate brokers. Just make sure that Sheldon and Kelly are a team you talk to. Their experience, that strategic marketing program, it sets them apart from all the other brokers. Just like hearing about your home, like I just talked about, that one at Shady Grove and Colonial. You can reach them simply at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Again, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. The voice of the Louisville Cardinals has also watched a lot of horse races at Churchill Downs over the years. I'm not saying that Paul's been there for all 147 running of the Roses, but you've been there for 35 or 40 of them. Good afternoon, Paul.
Good morning. This will be actually 53.
53? Wow, that is pretty good. Man.
Yeah, pretty good streak.
You realize
actually,
that's more than a third of them. Wow.
I know. That's been pointed out to me a few times.
All right, so we got one horse that is clearly the favorite. 2-1 in the morning line. I think it's plus 500 if you do it at like FanDuel or something like that.
I can't find the horse racing on the FanDuel right now.
It is Essential Quality. Is this that quality a horse, Paul Rogers?
Essentially, he's a very high quality. Yes, he's a very deserving favorite. It's hard to find anything to knock him on. He's never lost. He was the 2-year-old champion. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's won both of his 3-year-old races. He can be close. He can come from off the pace. He's well bred. He has a red-hot trainer in Brad Cox, a guy who has really moved to the national prominence in recent years. In fact, he's won the Kentucky Oaks twice recently. This is his first Derby. Add to that, he grew up just a couple of blocks from Churchill Downs. Was one of those guys who always liked the horses more than school. And here's the thing to top it off. This is hard to believe. Everybody's been researching this frantically, but as far as anyone has been able to determine, no Louisville-born trainer has actually ever won the Kentucky Derby.
What? That's impossible.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Impossible.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And one other little bonus point to add, he's a real striking gray. It's one of those horses that people really take to. So there's a lot to like about him. The only thing not to like is he's the favorite, and nobody wants to bet the favorite because everybody wants to make a ton of money. But in all honesty, in recent years, since Churchill went to this points qualifying system, the favorite has done very well.
Paul, one horse in the number 8 post, Medina Spirit, I believe he's the only horse for trainer Bob Baffert. One thing we know with Bob Baffert's horse, they're pure gentlemen. They open doors for ladies. That's what Bob Baffert trains his horses to do when he talks about them like they're actual people. But does he have a shot?
Yeah, definitely. He looks to have a shot. Bob's been kind of low-keying the horse, to tell you the truth, but he's been either first and second in all his races. His last one was when he was second in the Santa Anita Derby to Rock Your World, who was spectacular that day and is getting a lot of attention. But obviously you can never discount Baffert in the Kentucky Derby.
Well, I wanted to go to Rock Your World with Joel Rosario on top. That's the second favorite at 5-1. So there is some space between Essential Quality and Rock Your World, and they're right next to each other. Essential Quality coming out of the 14 and Rock Your World out of the 15th post. What's the odds in your mind on Rock Your World?
Well, as I said, his Santa Anita Derby was a spectacular race. In fact, he got the highest buyer speed. There are various speed figures. The one most people talk about or relate to are the buyer speed figures, and I don't have those in front of me. I've actually got some different figures, but I believe he had the highest buyer number in winning that race. Interestingly, he's only raced 3 times, which once upon a time would be an immediate throwout, but not anymore because horses just don't race as much. We have a couple of others in the field who have run only 3 times. He's won all 3. His first 2 were on the turf, and then they put him on the dirt for the Santa Anita Derby. That's what John Sadler, his trainer, said was the plan all along. They didn't know if it would work, but it did. And Sadler is another one of those highly respected horsemen who has never won a Derby, but feels like he's got a realistic shot here.
The third odds-on favorite, at least from where I'm sitting, coming out of the first post, Known Agenda, and if my memory recalls, no horses won out of the first post, right?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. And remember, it's really been in terms of the history of the Derby, it's been in fairly recent years that you've had these huge 20-horse fields.
Right.
Back in the old days when the Derby was 8, 9, 10 horses, post position was virtually no factor. And in fact, at one time, I think the number 1 post had the most winners. But it is a concern. You don't necessarily like being pinned down there inside. But 2 things. One, I don't think he's a horse that has to get away right on the lead. Sometimes if you get a front-running horse in that number 1 post and maybe he gets sort of jammed over or gets away late and suddenly he's behind a bunch of horses, that's a problem. I don't think that will be a big problem for him. And another little bit of a minor factor is last year, for the first time, Churchill used a new starting gate, which is a 20-horse gate. They used to have 2 gates, a 14-horse gate, and then they had an auxiliary starting gate. And because of the 2 gates being connected, there was a big space between 14 and 15, which meant the starting gate took up more space and they had to push it closer to the rail. Now with the 20-horse gate, they can move it out just a little bit off the rail, so it's not quite so claustrophobic in that number 1 spot.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but 2 years ago, what was it? Maximum Security that got disqualified.
Right.
Poor Maximum
There
Security.
were 22 horses in that race, weren't there?
No,
have they capped it at 20?
They've capped it at 20. They do have an also eligible now, where when they enter, they can enter more than 20, but only 20 of them will run. Those last 2 are there only in case somebody has to pull out of the race, and then they can move in. They still get limited to 20.
The fourth favorite has my favorite name, Hot Rod Charlie. Right in the middle, in the 9 spot. What's the odds on Hot Rod Charlie?
He's 8-1 morning line. He won the Louisiana Derby, which is 1 mile and 3/16, which is a 16th of a mile longer than the other Derby, perhaps a 16th shorter than the Derby. But he has shown he can win closer to the Derby distance than anybody else. He's trained by Doug O'Neill, who's won the Derby twice. There's always a lot of good vibes around Doug O'Neill. He has a way of, his barn comes in and really has a big time, and he embraces that. He thinks positive vibes carry back and forth from horses to people, and he's come in feeling pretty good about his horse. He won the Louisiana Derby, was third to Medina Spirit, actually, his previous race. And then his last race, 3 races ago, he was a close second to Essential Quality in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
And then I got to ask you about Bourbonic, because I love that story. He's got the first African-American jockey on board in 7 or 8 years. And this was a horse that no one thought was going to make the Derby. And I think it was the Woodlands that was the race that got him in. He was
the Wood Memorial. He won
at
72-1 odds.
72-1 odds, and he's 30-1 here. I mean, I wouldn't. You might want to place him here. I don't know.
Well, everybody's looking for prices, and he certainly is one. And he came from well back to win that Wood Memorial. It was his first try at a stakes race. He had been running in lower level races, but popped up and ran big for Todd Pletcher, who's had more horses in the Derby than anybody. He's won it twice. And I mean, anything is worth the price in the Derby. Anything can happen, and his last race was certainly a good one. You can go with the Bourbon Double, by the way. Besides Bourbonic, you've got Midnight Bourbon, which also.
Oh, that's my favorite name because I'm a big bourbon drinker, so I might put a few dollars on him. But out of the big,
how many think will do that just on the name? Seriously?
Oh, surely. Some people will, and it's as good a reason as any. There's many things that happen for no rhyme or reason in a Kentucky Derby.
That's true.
That is very true. But out of the big long shot favorites, there's I think 5 or 6 that are 50-1 odds. Who would you bet on to win or at least to place and finish out of those 50-1s?
Yeah, I tell you, I can't go for any of the 50-1s to be honest with you, but there's a 20-1 who I think might even be higher than that when they go off that I do like. That's Obizos, number 6. If you look at his form, it doesn't really jump out at you, but he's a son of Orb, a Derby winner, and he just looks to me like, if you'll pardon the reference, he looks a little bit like a country house kind of horse, meaning a horse that just sort of looks like he wants to run all day, and then a long race like the Derby could be right there at the end. So I've got him kind of pegged as my long shot special. If I had to choose a 50-1, Helium is 3 for 3 in his young career, and he's at 50-1 in the morning line. I'm not sold on Hidden Stash, who's also 50-1, and I think those are the only two actual.
Keep her in mind.
Strong. Yeah, well, there's I actually like the King, who comes out of the Jeff Ruby Stakes at Turfway. He's 50-1. Brooklyn Strong, who actually looked good until running just kind of so-so in the Wood Memorial, and keep me in mind as well. Yeah, they're pretty deserving 50-1s, I would say.
All right, we do this every year, so we have to do it again. Take us from start to finish. How you think this race will go?
Well, this one interesting thing about this race is there are no confirmed front runners. You can't look at it and say this is the horse who wants to be in front. Now there are several who could be and might wind up there and would be okay with it, but it's not going to be their goal to jump out of the gate and get there right in front. And I think Essential Quality will be close throughout the race. I think, like I said, Obizos, I think, would be way back. I think Highly Motivated, who's another horse I like, will be up close to the pace. But bottom line, I think I end up giving you a 4-horse exacta group each year, and I'm going with Essential Quality, Highly Motivated, Dynamic One, who was second in the Wood Memorial, and Obizos, the horse I mentioned earlier.
Dynamic One. Let me find that horse. That's the 11.
He's number 11
with Ortiz on top, 20-1.
Yeah, he was second to Bourbonic in the Wood Memorial. That was a huge exacta that day.
And Obizos, that's the 20-1 that you think will actually open up higher when it's all said and done. So here's the recommendations from a guy who was really good over the years. Essential Quality, Highly Motivated, Dynamic, and Obizos. Wow.
Dynamic One. Yeah,
Dynamic One, I'm sorry.
Right.
Dynamic One, which is, I believe, a 10-1 shot, right? Yeah. 20-1.
Yeah.
20-1.
20-1.
20-1.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, if that came out, that would be, we got a 20-1 in Dynamic One. Highly Motivated is 10-1. What is Dynamic One? Oh, that's the 20-1. Essential Quality is the 2-1, and then Obizos is 20-1. Yeah.
2-1. Yeah.
That'd pay a little bit, wouldn't it?
I'd take it. Yeah, for sure.
I'd take the pretty penny.
Yeah, I think that would be good. All right, last question for you, my friend. Penny Hardaway said he wants a home and home with Louisville. I think Ryan Silverfield said the same thing with football. Come on, I know you have a lot of pull here. Let's get this thing going.
I'll do what I can, which is very little, but I'll try.
I think you're not in the preseason NIT this year. We are. Then the year after that, you're going to Maui, but we're not going until the year after that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, right, yeah. Well, we're just missing each other again.
Man. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's meet in the NCAA tournament. I'd like that, too.
That'd work, too.
That would work. That would work. If you're in the neighborhood, golf's on me if you get here.
All right.
You're
like to do that.
you're the one that's retired, as I recall. So that would be fun. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you right before the second leg coming up, the Preakness in
a couple of weeks.
It's 2 weeks, right? It's 2 weeks and
Right.
then 3. Now that we're back on real schedules again.
In non-COVID years.
In non-COVID years. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Okay, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Paul.
That is the great Paul Rogers, the voice of the University of Louisville. And this will be, what do you say, his 53rd run for the Roses. He's brought to you in part by Ken Garland. There's a guy who's been around working with his dad 50 years. This business, second generation. Go see what I'm talking about when it comes to beautiful new dream homes, building wonderful palaces, or if we're talking about a renovation, I call it renovation with innovation, where he takes all the modern amenities, puts that in your older home, makes that a modern, just beautiful showcase place. If you would like to see what I'm talking about, go to kengarland.com. But then after you see that, and you'll be sold, then you got to go call Ken, 751-1632. Fun to talk to, and know this. He sees the little details and the big picture all at once. Not many people have that kind of talent. Ken Garland does. And then he knows the commitment you're making. This is a financial investment, and that's why he's going to work closely with us all his clients, ensuring that they get what he says they should expect: quality construction on time, on budget. Please, again, go to kengarland.com. If you're looking for land, he's got that. If you're not sure what to do with your land, he knows. Go check him out and call him. Again, that number, 751-1632, Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Back in a minute to put a wrap on this second hour on this Thursday of Sports Time.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
I'm so excited that baseball is back, and there's nothing like watching a game with great weather, a cold drink, and a little action on FanDuel Sportsbook. If you've never bet on baseball before, now is the perfect time. FanDuel is letting new users swing for the fences risk-free. You'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit if your first bet doesn't win. And once you have an account, you can get up to $25 back each day in site credit if your same-game parlay bet falls one leg short. There's a reason FanDuel Sportsbook is America's #1 sportsbook. The app is simple to use. They've got great odds and always-on promotions to let you get more action. And when you win, FanDuel will pay you your winnings in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code CASH to get in on the action. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only for risk-free bet. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our second hour here, having a lot of fun. Don't forget at 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will be with us. We will talk some Tigers, and congratulations to Carol Lloyd and all the staff, and of course the cheerleaders and the dance team, because yesterday, for the first time since 2008, your alma mater, Mr. Barrett, they won the national championship in both cheer and in dance. How about that?
I saw that. That was actually going to be my what I learned today. That and of course the famed dance team at the University of Memphis has always finished at the top or near the top in every dance competition for the last 20, 30, 40 plus years. It seems like they won their first national championship in the hip hop since 2012.
Good stuff. You can repeat that again a little bit later. That'll be just fine. That's anytime it's good news, we love it. I don't know if you guys were watching last night. Did you see Genesis Cabrera with a 97 miles per hour fastball that went right into the face of Bryce Harper?
It didn't look very pleasing. It looked like
it was amazing to me. Yeah, he goes down. He got up quickly.
Yeah, shook it off pretty well.
I thought he might stay in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe. And, 97, and he took that flush. I think it was right on the left side of his nose, right
about
the
bone right
under
there.
his eye, but not high enough to get the orbital bone. And I haven't seen much of a story. I meant to try to Google it just to see if there's any news yet. But he got right up. Here's the thing. It was clear that Cabrera was not trying to hit him.
No.
Because the next guy up, he hits in the ribs. And now Joe Girardi comes out, and he's hopping mad, and he thinks the home plate umpire should toss Cabrera. The Cardinal manager is saying, I would take him out, but there's a new rule in Major League Baseball where you have to have a guy face 3 batters before you can take him out. That was all to speed it up. So the Cardinals couldn't take Cabrera out. And Girardi's point, which I think is a good one, this guy has no control and he's throwing in the 90s. Get him out of the game. The umpire should have kicked him out.
I don't know about kicked him out, but there's got to be a way you can be flexible on the rules. When you hit a guy in the face, and then next pitch he hits the next batter in the ribs. The guy clearly doesn't have his stuff that night. He's not getting it across the plate, and you hope that for his third batter he misses on the other side.
The Cardinals by rule can't do it.
Yeah.
The umpires could have. They just got to kick him out of the game. I think the umpiring crew blew that one in my mind. This portion of the show is brought to you by James Davis Men's Store, the best men's store in Memphis, in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, and the only ones with the Stant custom fit system. I've been telling you for years about the shirt and how much I love it. That's 3 measurements. Now they've got the perfect fit pant, 2 measurements. And the computer comes up with the perfect try-on fit. I'm not kidding you. The leg, the seat, the bottom, they're all perfect for your body. The only place you can get this, and they start at $165, is James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. There's 80 fabrics to choose from, and you'll just be amazed. All the wonderful fashions they've got, all the spring colors are in, the service, the same people have been there forever. They take care of you. And it's the only men's store with this great custom fit system called Stand. in shirts and now in pants. Go see my buddies at James Davis Men's Store. We're back in just a minute. Hour number 3, we talk Tigers with Greg Gaston in just a couple.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
The Jeep Celebration and Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Check out 2021 Jeep Renegade Sport, $22,490 or $287 a month. Command the road in your 2021 Dodge Charger XST. We Gossett at $29,499 or $394 a month. And if you're ready for some adventure, 2021 Fiat 500X Pop all-wheel drive, $21,990 or $279 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. We Gossett all at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, so drive past the rest and come to the best. 1901 Covington Pike, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, all 3,500 cash down, 75 months at 4.11 APR. Renegade MPM 44,788, MSRP 26,240, Charger MH5 12,542, MSRP 32,860, 500X MP 88,7786, MSRP 26,830. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/21 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
This hour brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. They are at 5704 Goodman Road. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com and check out all the beautiful cars and look at all the testimonials from very pleased repeat customers. They're very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Down on Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. All the cars test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, head to toe, kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they care about your time. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive a car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in less than an hour. In time to do it during your lunch hour or immediately after work. They know we live in a world today that time really matters. That's why they keep it simple at DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in hour number 3, and again, no Brett. He'll be back on Monday after the passing of his mother. We do wish the family, his brother Tommy, and all the nephews and their wives and now grandchildren. We wish them only the very best. It'll be great to have Brett back in the fold on Monday. In the meantime, it is NFL Draft Night tonight, and a great story that's made it all juicy is that Aaron Rodgers, power play maybe, who knows, but he has come out on draft day and basically said, I want out. I don't want to be a Green Bay Packer. I want to go maybe closer home to L.A. where his fiance is. Who knows what he's trying to do, but there should be some great drama because of it now tonight on the draft. There's also, this is sort of breaking news as we talk Tigers right now with Greg Gaston. Here's the breaking news of the day, Greg. Today, no transfer portal news whatsoever. Unbelievable.
Love it.
We had some yesterday.
I know.
With Tim
Taylor.
But yeah, we get a day off from that. That's certainly good news. But look, the draft is going to be exciting because there's going to be a minimum of a Tiger selected, probably a couple selected, and that'll keep the streak going. That'll be 8 straight years that at least one Tiger has been selected in the 7th-round NFL draft. So that's always a good thing. The Tigers obviously proving that you can come to Memphis, you can win football games, you can get a lot of exposure and make it to the next level.
With the draft being tonight and obviously talking Tigers with Greg Gaston here, how many Tigers get drafted when it's all said and done on Saturday?
I think it'll be 2. I think Kenneth Gainwell will probably go in the 3rd round. I'm thinking towards the latter part of tomorrow night. And then I think Coxie will go, but he probably won't go until maybe late 6th round, even 7th round. His 40 time was not what I guess scouts had hoped for, not what he had hoped for. But I still think he showed an awful lot in his time at Memphis that he's capable of at least having an opportunity to make an NFL roster. So I think Coxie will be drafted. You know, you'd love to see Brady White get drafted. I don't think it's going to happen. Could somebody take a flyer on him at the end of the draft? Yeah, possibly, but more than likely his route to the NFL is via free agency. And then a couple of other guys that will certainly get their chance. Riley Patterson, he could. We saw Jake Elliott a few years back get drafted, and he's gone on to have a pretty darn good career. I don't think we'll see that. And Adam Williams, a really good punter. I think both those guys will be in somebody's camp, of course, trying to make an NFL roster. But I think it'll be a nice weekend overall for the Tigers with a couple of guys getting drafted.
Well, I agree with your number. I do think there will be 2 Tigers that will end up getting drafted. Gainwell, 3rd or 4th.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Riley Patterson will be the second one. I thought there was a good story, and I can't remember if it was Evan Barnes, whoever wrote the story on the punter, Adam Williams. And the first thing anybody asked him was, because he left after his junior year. Now, he'd been redshirted, but he was asked, why did you leave early? And he just said, well, I've been there 4 years. I'm going to graduate, and I'm ready to move on to my next thing. When they're going to ask Coxie, what's his answer going to be? I don't think Coxie's going to get drafted.
Well, again, the story, why they opted out, why they left mid-season or late in the season, whatever the player may be, that's really not what's going to matter. What's going to matter is, can that player help out that team that's looking at that player? And the one thing about Coxie is, remember, he was recruited originally by Alabama. Anybody who's recruited by Alabama, to me, is a pretty strong candidate to have that athleticism and skills to make it in the NFL. I'm not saying he's a shoo-in to make it in the NFL. I'm not saying he's a shoo-in to be drafted. And again, the 40 was not good. But I still think there's a good chance he'll get drafted late. But, Wallow, you may be right. Memphis' track record with kickers is darn good. And you don't usually see the kickers drafted, but we saw Elliott drafted. So I think there is that possibility. I mean, Riley's Cotton Bowl performance is still the one thing that stands out. Just look at that tape if you're really in the market for a kicker. But then again, there's not a lot of teams hankering to pick a kicker with one of their draft picks. So the chances are still less than 50%, but he may very well get picked. And if not, he's going to have a great opportunity to make an NFL team, whatever team that may be.
Well, I was reading somewhere about the salary cap and it being smaller this year. And for that reason, without as much money to spend, kickers are cheap for the most part, especially drafted kickers, and therefore they thought there would be some kickers, and that's part of the reasoning why I think Riley Patterson's got to have a shot. I think he's ranked as the second or third best kicker in the draft, is he not?
Oh, he's certainly one of the best, I think, out there available. But isn't a free agent kicker cheaper than a drafted kicker? So I think that your point about
I don't know about that. If a guy is a free agent kicker, he's had time in, right?
Well, not in the case. Not if it's a.
I guess if it was a rookie that's undrafted,
rookie.
yeah,
right.
But it's still going to be pretty much the same slotted position.
It'll be close. Yeah, the money wouldn't be like that astronomically more if you're drafted in the 7th round or if you're a free agent. But look, best of luck to all the Tigers. And again, I don't think this needs to be repeated to the players themselves. They obviously know this, but you don't need to be drafted to make it in the NFL. You don't need to be drafted in the first 2 rounds or 3 rounds to make it in the NFL. We've seen players excel from every position or at every position from every draft situation, and many, many who have not been drafted. So that is certainly not going to deter their confidence in themselves to try to make an NFL roster. We've seen it many times, not only with Memphis, but all around the country.
I forgot to mention Talkin' Tigers with Greg Gaston is brought to you by Bartlett Small Engines, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mont Moriah Auto Sales, and by Popolock.
Greg, switching over to basketball, because we did have some basketball news earlier this week. Tyler Harris coming back to the University of Memphis and reportedly as a walk-on. How do you think that's going to play out in stint number 2 for Tyler Harris?
Yeah, Penny loves Tyler, and Tyler's home is Memphis, and Tyler misses Memphis. He gave it a shot at Iowa State, playing in the Big 12, and it didn't really work out that well. And he sees what Penny's doing here, and he just wants to be a part of it. It's no gamble. He's walking on. They won't use a scholarship on him from everything I've heard. And he'll know his situation. Look, he went out there and gave it a shot for 2 years, and he had some moments, certainly some big moments. But there could be times when Penny calls his number, he comes in there, hits a few threes, and can really help the team out. But I think he knows where he stands. He's not coming in he's not going to take away somebody's starting job. But Tyler Harris to be back home and Penny to open up his arms to him, I think that's fantastic. I think that's great with Tyler Harris. Now, the Davian Warren thing, not so great. And I think that simply was Davian Warren looking at the situation, seeing what Penny has brought in, and I think the last straw was the Lawsons, which I'm not saying is a bad thing by any stretch of imagination. But what I'm saying is I think that scared Warren a little bit, that maybe he's not going to get that PT he was hoping for, and that's why he's reopened his recruiting. But that happens. There's young men and women today. There are many of them that don't want the competition. They want to be given that slot, and this is a guy who scored over 20 points a game, albeit at Hampton, but certainly in Division I basketball. So it would have been nice to see how that kid would have turned out and whether his game would have translated into a better, stronger conference in the American playing for Memphis. But that opens up another scholarship, and then we can know the Musa Cisse situation, Drew, that he will not be a Tiger, even if he comes back to college, it will be with another program. So Penny will have 2 scholarships to use if he elects to do so. I am absolutely positive that one of those is going to eventually go to somebody who can help bring the basketball up the court. I think they're going to eventually get a point guard.
I think, and apparently the decision is going to be made over the weekend. I would be surprised if Devontae Jones, who is the point guard at Coastal Carolina, and I believe he announced that it is between Memphis, Michigan, and Texas Tech.
And Texas.
And Texas is in that mix too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's 4. He is a Penny fan. I mean, he's worn a shoe ever since he was a kid. I really think the lean at this point, even though I think Penny's playing this pretty low key, but I think Devontae Jones is going to end up here.
Well, let me say this, Wallo, and again, this is from a couple of people that I know that are I'm not going to say they know for sure, but they seem to, and I hope you're right, but they tell me that they don't believe it'll be Memphis.
Really?
They believe the lead will be to Michigan. But I do believe there will be a point guard that'll be added at some time this year because there's guys out there. And there's always guys jumping into the portal. And again, he doesn't have to use the two, but I think we're all in agreement that they need help at that position. So whether it be Devontae Jones or whether it be somebody else later on in the spring or summer, I think they're adding. Whether or not he uses both those scholarships, I don't know, but I think they're absolutely going to add one. But I hope it is Devontae Jones because I think he has a lot of potential.
Well, he's a guy that could end up as a draft pick sooner or later in the NBA, whether it's this year or next year. Mm-hmm. And I know he was testing the water. The departure of Warren, most people think is because the timing was here's Tyler Harris. Really, I think it was more the Lawsons and Harris, and how am I going to get minutes here? And I'm a grad guy, so I've only got the 1 year left. And if I'm going to go someplace, I want to play, and I don't blame them. There are some people that also thought, maybe Penny advised him to do that because if he, one of the things he could have done is he could have been a point guard. And if you've got in your mind somebody else that's going to be that point guard, and now you got both Lawsons and one of them's a guard, it's a trouble with numbers, especially for a kid that at some point was in your mind as a player, and now he's really down your bench. Give him the opportunity to go. And I thought in the back of my head some of that was Devontae Jones. But you're getting different information. It'll be interesting to see. I think we'll have the answer over the weekend.
Yeah, he's going to announce on Saturday at least everything that I've read. But I think you're right on point, Wolo. Don't think for a second that Penny, and obviously they had to give him his waiver, not waiver, but they had to release him from his letter of intent because it was a signed letter of intent.
Right.
And so they had to release him. So I'm sure the conversation happened, and Penny talked to him about what's going on with the school and the program and why he decided to bring in who he brought in. But I don't think for a second Tyler Harris walking on and coming back to Memphis altered that guy's decision. I do believe, though, the combination with the Lawsons and all the other wings that have been brought in, I think the kid, as you said, finally looked at it and said, "Hey, I got one more year. I'm trying to just raise my stock by being at a more high-profile program. And what am I going to do? Am I going to play like 17 minutes a game? I want to go and play 25 to 30 minutes because I know I'm capable of doing so, and I don't know if I'll get that opportunity at Memphis." I haven't talked to the guy. I haven't spoken to the guy. But that's just my observation. When you start to see all these other players at the same position, that is probably a deal with playing time and how do I fit in.
I think it's interesting that Penny has this flexibility. If Devontae Jones comes in, that's a quality guy. I mean, that's a guy you got to jump at if you can get him in. If you don't get him in, and I don't know the other guy that you might have in mind in how quality a player he is, but you could save those 2 scholarships if you wanted to, and just think that between Quinones, who we know can play the 1, obviously Alo, and Jonathan Lawson can play the 1 if you need him to.
Jonathan Lawson's got to put weight on. He's got to get bigger, and he needs to really hit the gym in the summer. He's going to be a freshman. We know how long it takes for these freshmen to make the transition from high school to college. Even D. Rose, are you kidding me? Remember the first month and a half with Derrick Rose? He looked like that's Derrick Rose, and then all of a sudden he became the star that we thought he would be. I don't know how much you can count on Jonathan Lawson right off the bat. And those early games are what do in the Tigers every year, seemingly, is to lose those non-conference games against decent opponents. They need to be ready from the get-go. Quinones, you're right. He could step in. He could play a little bit of point. Lomax, again, the glue guy, a leader, but is he the guy to take it to that next level? He's already had 3 years under his belt. I mean, people still believe that he's that guy. He'll be a senior, for goodness sake. I think that combination of those guys will be okay. But if you can go out and get a really good point guard, a scoring point guard that plays defense, go get that point guard. I still don't believe they have enough at that position to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament.
Greg, this one's for both you and Dave. I want to get both of y'all's opinion on this. Earlier this week, a friend of the show, Shelby Mass of BracketWag.com and USA Today, released his first version of the 2021-2022 NCAA bracket, and he has the University of Memphis Tigers sitting at a 6th seed. Would both of y'all sign up for that right now?
No, I would rather take the seeding that Joe Lenardi gave him, because he gave him a 5 seed.
Okay, if you're going to give me Lenardi, I'll take the 5.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll take the 6 as well. You tell me you're solidly in the NCAA tournament for next year. We all believe they have the talent, but they've had the talent every year. So we think, yes, they can get there. But if Drew's going to hand me that, I'm going to grab it and run with it.
Well, I'm going to go back to a mantra that I've said for a while now. If you look at last year's team that got better as the year went on and won an NIT championship, I know you'd rather be in the NCAA losing first round than winning the NIT. I totally agree with that. But winning the NIT tells you something about improvement as the year went on. And even with the flaws of free throw shooting, which they did have a little more efficiency in the NIT from the stripe, and turnovers, which they were a little more efficient during the NIT than they were during the regular season as well.
Right.
But I think it would tell you that if you've gotten better as the year went on and your 3 best players are coming back, that being DeAndre Williams, Lester Quinones, Landers Nolley, any order that you want to put them in, those are the 3 best players. They're all coming back. You're going to have what you say is a senior, but he's really a junior because he gets the whole year back. Lomax comes back. You've got, what is it? You got Timberlake, who is about as high a prospect as any of the players on the team when he went to Miami.
His only question is health.
Yeah.
That's the only question with him. If he's healthy, this guy could be really good.
Right. So he could be special. Then you've got 4 guys that are all top 100 high school players. And you still got some of the I don't know where Tyler Harris comes in all this, but if you're looking for a streak shooter to beat a zone, he's part of your arsenal. And
he's Dandridge.
Dandridge, and frankly, Onu, in my mind, is a better version of what Cisse was, and you certainly don't need 2 of those. This guy has some offensive skills. He's as tall. He's from everything I've heard, he's athletic, and he does have some offensive skills. So I don't think the Cisse loss is that damaging. And the one guy that if I could talk back into staying, that would be DJ Jeffries. Even Boogie was a defensive liability, and of all the guys, he was the mentally weakest of all of them.
And only really found his shot the last month of his time here. I mean, the first year and a half or more. I mean,
yeah, you know
he
what?
He had 2 good games.
Well, I'll tell you this. I thought he was fairly consistent once they put him back in the starting lineup. Where did he start, the last 10, 11 games? I think he was better even with Alo still healthy. He was a better player when they put him back in the starting lineup. And then, of course, he had to come through when Alo was out. But I think the makeup of this team that won an NIT that Greg, I think should have been in the NCAA had they been able to play a home game with Houston or another game with Wichita State that would have gotten them over the hump past Wichita State. I truly believe that team should have beaten Houston twice, and that team got to the Final Four. So I really think this is a better team coming in and a team that absolutely should make the NCAA.
I agree with you. On paper, this team looks to be good. I like the makeup of the team. I like the fact that Penny kept the core. Like you said, the 3 players that he really depended on down the stretch. He has all 3 of those guys coming back. And so you're going to sprinkle in a lot of young players, but it's not going to be a youthful team where everybody's young. You're going to have veterans mixed in with young players. I love the combination. Now, to ask for a guy like Onu to step in there and all of a sudden make the transition without any issues, that's a lot to ask for. We saw the issues that Cisse had, but you're right. He has a better offensive game. His roomie, basically his brother, if you will, John Camden, who's also coming, has been on the Midday Show a couple of times, and he talks about the kid being able to step out and hit threes. He hit 5 threes in one game, but he's still a back-to-the-basket type inside player with the ability to block shots and rebound. But again, what they're able to do in high school, let's see it in college, because we've talked about all these guys for the last 2 or 3 years, and once they step foot onto the court, it's not that easy.
But you don't need him to step up right away, because honestly, the Tigers were the most effective when DeAndre Williams was the 5. They were playing small ball.
Well, here's the thing.
And you do have Dandridge, by the way, and we got to see Dandridge healthy. I mean, I have yet to see Dandridge healthy for a whole year.
Oh, yeah. I love the ability. Look, I've loved Malcolm Dandridge since his days at East. I think he has a lot of ability, but you're right. Staying healthy is going to be the key. Look, here's the thing. What they call positionless basketball or going small ball. I thought Penny did a great job in mixing that stuff up as the season progressed. Penny got a lot out of his guys as the game went on, and as the season went on. And that's a sign of a really good coach, making the transition from the one offensive style to the other offensive style. I think he pushed a lot of the right buttons. He really did. But here's the thing. In the tournament, because I'm going to call them a tournament team, I think they're going to get there. If they don't, oh, my God, the conversation we'll have after next week, right?
Oh, yeah.
But if they get to the tournament, when you run into a team with that big, strong, maybe NBA future guard, that point guard, how are you going to handle him? And then also, how about if you run into a team, I'm not saying every team has Gonzaga's talent, but if you run into a team that has Timme and those kind of big boys, are they going to be able to do damage with DeAndre Williams as the big, or is it going to have to be Malcolm Dandridge or Onu or something like that? So there are styles that Memphis matches up really well against, and there are other styles I'm not so sure right now. Like if they had Musa and you played a team that was a half-court style offense, Musa from a defensive standpoint helps you out a lot. Well, he's not there anymore. I'm still concerned with the point guard. I'm sorry, that's still the position I'm worried about, but I really do believe whether it's this weekend or down the road later this spring or summer, although I really think they're going to bring somebody else in. I have no idea who it is. I'm just telling you, I think they know what we know, that they need a little help still at that position.
Oh, Greg, if we know it, I'm 100% positive Penny Hardaway and his staff know it. A little fun question here to before we let you go. Yesterday, the Oscars, which are the University of Memphis's SB's Oscar Awards, they gave the best win to the University of Memphis men's basketball team for the NIT championship. Now, the football holder, Preston Brady, had a little issue with this, tweeting out yesterday. I mean, let's not forget that football won a bowl game with a new head coach in his first year. But yeah, whatever, basketball can have all the credit. Do you think he has an argument for best win for an award that really doesn't matter?
Well, the bowl game, if I didn't mean to cut you off, but my first thought is this. The bowl game was not their biggest win.
Yeah.
Their biggest win was finally to beat UCF. That's the one. If he wants to put something out there, first time you won at Navy had a bad team this year. UCF was still a good team, and you finally beat those guys for the first time since they were Division I AA. So if I'm going to brag about one win for the football team, it's UCF.
Well, Preston, was it Preston Brady who said that?
Yeah, it was Preston Brady.
Yeah, he absolutely has an argument. He can say that. And I think, well, you're right. I think the UCF win was bigger, but they broke the streak, right? They broke the losing streak in the bowl. More power to him. I think it ended up being a very good year in Ryan Silverfield's first full year as head coach. But the NIT, I know it's not the NCAA, and I know what people understand that the goal is the NCAA. But they did win the national championship, the NIT title. They won it. It was a championship win. A bowl win's good, but they won a title. So I would still credit the men's basketball team with the win in the NIT championship game as the biggest win. So I would agree with that award.
I'm with you, Greg.
I think football got slighted. I guess maybe that's something to do with that. I co-host and produce a Tiger football show every Sunday during football season. But
yes, perhaps it's that, Drew.
Just a little bit.
Greg, as always, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Sounds good, guys.
Thank you. Talking Tigers with Greg Gaston, brought to you by Bartlett Small Engines, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mont Moriah Auto Sales, and by Popolock. And this portion of the show also brought to you by Mario's Pools. I love Mario. He is such a good guy to chat with. He really is. And he's got everything in that store you could need. It's right there in Germantown on Exeter Road. If you need resurfacing, if you need tile replacement, if you need pool coping, he does every bit of pool renovation. But the best part is he does everything you could possibly need. He's got the best price against all major competitors, and he's got the best selection. I've been in there, and he can do things. I'm not sure why, but he can do things with prices and just with helping you that other people don't seem to have the ability to do that. Call him. Check it out for yourself. Just chat with him. He loves to talk. His number is 552-3399. 552-3399. Or again, just walk in and check it out. Look, that beautiful pool, it doesn't just happen. So call Mario, and his team will keep it right, or they'll guide you every step of the way. Make your pool beautiful this summer with Mario's Pools. Back in a minute, we will meet the latest executive in the Memphis sports scene. His name is, I got to read it real quick. I'm sorry. Andrew Haynes. And he sits on the board of the NISL and the new Memphis Americans. He will come your way in just a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Golf fans, breaking news! Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View Friday, April 30th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Join Sports 56 Middays and Sports 56 Happy Hour as we give away tons of door prizes, including golf lesson gift cards and free rounds of golf, including cart. Check out out Cypress View's new food menu as well. From Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, homemade fresh hand-patted burgers, and Nathan's hot dogs, flatbreads, quesadillas, summer salads, and more. So come hungry. Again, Sports 56 fans, come see us at Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas, Friday, April 30th from 10 until 3. Enjoy live sports talk, food, fun, and lots of door prizes. Cypress View Golf and Recreation in Marion, Arkansas. Put it on your calendar. Can't wait. Me, Greg, Johnny, we look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Once again, Brett, off till Monday. I don't think I have to remind you. A week from Sunday, you know it's Mother's Day. What's the best way to say, Mom, we loved you? It's Dinstall's, especially if you're in Memphis. And maybe your mom's not here. You want to send her some Memphis. Maybe she's from Memphis. She's gone away for a little bit. She's retired in Florida. Chocolate-covered strawberries, well, that's hard to send. Could melt. Now you want to give your mom here. That's the greatest thing with the fondant and the chocolate enrobing in. You can't beat that. We know that. But you could do Cashew Crunch. That doesn't melt. You could do Turtlettes. That won't melt. It's Mother's Day. Nothing says sweeter things than getting Memphis's signature candy, Dinstall's, for Mother's Day. And now we got so many places to get it. The place where they make it, Pleasant View. Then there's the one in my neighborhood in Laurelwood. There's the Germantown. There's the Collierville Dinstall's. Now they got the one downtown. Soon there will be a museum there for chocolate and candy. That's going to be cool. They're open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tell your mom you love her in the sweetest way you can with something from Dinstall's. I'll tell you, it was sweet for me to go on the website today and see this thing from the NISL, the National Indoor Soccer League, and there was the old logo, it's kind of modernized now, of the Memphis Americans and the memories that it brought back for me, and it had some names in there. It had Tony Carbignani, who still lives in Memphis. It had Helmut Dudek, now a blessed memory, but he was an unbelievable player. Georgie Espinoza, the greatest of all, was Stan Stamankovic. Now, they missed the guy, and I've got to tell for sure, the newest executive in Memphis, in Andrew Haynes, that he forgot the great, extraordinary defenseman, Matt O'Sullivan. But that's a topic for another day. Let's welcome Andrew Haynes in. Andrew, congratulations on getting this thing done. It's going to be great to have indoor soccer again. I guess let's start with why you chose the Americans and where the heck you guys are from.
Yeah, well, I've owned some indoor soccer teams and other sports teams over the last 20 years. And, I used to come down to Memphis for my son's travel soccer tournaments, fell in love with the area. And just, same thing we did up in St. Louis. We kind of went back to the roots. And, we kind of rebirthed, the St. Louis Ambush there. And with Memphis, one of the cool facts is, a former player, Mike Garrett, his son, Ian Garrett, played on my team in St. Louis back a few years. So when his kid was there, he was telling me about, his days in Memphis. And, all those kind of things just kind of led to that direction. And then just, it's been a few-year project to try to make it happen. I explored the opportunity a few times and was going to do it as a solo owner. And then decided, let's put together a group and just do it a little bit better.
So does the league, and you being a part of that, do you own all the teams, or do you just have a group that owns the Memphis Americans?
Yeah, they're separate. So Memphis Americans will be a separate ownership group, and I'm part of that group. We saved some room in the ownership group so we can add some locals to the mix. I mean, I think it would be great to have some local tie-ins there. I live in Central Florida. I love barbecue, so I'll definitely be back a lot. But we want to have more, as many local ties as we can. So, but yeah, right now it's a private ownership group, and just really excited to finally get it announced.
Andrew, how many teams and what cities will be in this new league?
So our initial group has committed to a minimum of 4 cities for the first season, and basically starting in the southeast U.S. and growing out from there. Within 3 years, we plan to have a national footprint, coast to coast. But we want to be smart about it. We want to make sure the growth is solid. We signed a 5-year deal with Nike, league wide. We have state-of-the-art turf that'll be in every facility. So we're trying to do a lot of things league-wide so there's consistency around. And then the next few teams will be announced over the next mid-May will be the next announcement, and then a few weeks after that, the third team, and so on and so forth.
Would there be a team in St. Louis? I remember the Steamers, not the Ambush, but is St. Louis too far north?
No, it's not. I mean, there is my old team is still around. I sold it in end of 2016. It's still around in a different league. But there's some arenas downtown St. Louis that we've looked at, and I wouldn't say that it won't happen, but you never know. I mean, the Steamers, Steamers, Americans, Baltimore Blast, it was some great
Milwaukee Wave.
Yeah.
And
there's Kansas City Comets.
Yep. Baltimore Blast.
The biggest difference with us is, we've added the women's component. So, the Americans will operate 2 teams, a men's team and a women's team, and they'll play doubleheaders, so fans can come out and see 2 games for the price of 1. And it's just a different market than the traditional indoor soccer, having that extra game each night.
I saw on your website it's $15 pretty much per game if you buy a season ticket. It was incredibly reasonable, especially since you're going to see 2. Where will you get your talent pool? What kind of structure? Because these are going to be pros. What kind of financial structure have you got for them?
Yeah, it'll range. We don't have a salary cap, so teams are free to pay what's needed or what they'd like to in their market. A lot of teams will provide housing and food as well in addition to their salary. I know for us with Americans, we are going to focus initially with talent that is from within 3 hours of Memphis. We're going to see how far that gets us. We feel that there's some great high-level talent coming out of area colleges throughout the region, and especially on the women's side. I mean, it's some of the best women's college soccer in the country, coming out of the region. So once we get past that, then we'll search, nationwide, and then outside of that, international players.
Andrew, what about Memphis and about the soccer scene that really drew y'all here? Was it the past success that we had with the Americans and with the Rogues in 20 or what now 40 years ago, or was it more the new success that we've seen out of Memphis 901 FC and the popularity that it's had?
I think it was really 3 things. I think, the 2 that you mentioned definitely were great factors. And, those teams in the past have done phenomenally well. And then, you got to give credit to 901 FC. I mean, those guys have done a great job. And, the atmosphere, at the games from talking to people, I mean, they're doing it right. So those 2 things were great. And then the other side of it is, for us, we really market to families. So the youth soccer market community in the region is strong. There's tons and tons of thousands of kids that play, both boys and girls, all ages. And so when you add all those 3 things up, it's like, man, and then you have a great partnership with the facility at the Landers Center. It's like, man, did we just, hit the lottery here?
What was it about the Landers Center? Were there any other buildings that you looked at within the Memphis city limits?
We didn't because, I mean, I shouldn't say we didn't. I mean, obviously we looked at like FedEx Forum and we looked around the area, but we didn't see anything that really met what we need to from a fan perspective, and that was financially feasible. FedEx Forum's a great facility. I was at the Grizzlies game last night. Love it. but realistically, we're not going to get 18,000 fans a game. I don't think that's realistic at this stage. So, it's a lot of expense for that facility. So you get to a place like Landers Center, about 8,000, 8,500 seats. Now we're talking about, you get 4,000 or 5,000 fans in there, you got a great atmosphere. Every seat in the house is great. And then you get a partner like the Landers Center that it's a true partnership, and it's hard to find those, in all my years. And Todd Mastery, the GM there, and his staff have been great to work with. So we're really, really excited to be there.
And this season starts in December. How long does it run?
Yeah, December, right around Christmas is when we'll get started, and it'll go through early April in the regular season. So it's a short season, 3.5, 4 months, and then playoffs through April. We'll have 12 home dates at the Landers Center.
And with playing home games at the Landers Center, and you talked about the atmosphere that they built at 901 FC. I've been to a few of those games. It's great. I love the chants, the vuvuzelas, the drums, all that. How do you translate that to an indoor? Do indoor teams have the chants, the zelas, and the drums, and to give that type of atmosphere that you're used to at a lot of soccer games?
I think some do, and it really just kind of depends on that supporters group. Soccer traditionally, there's a lot of music played. So with my teams in the past, we would coordinate our DJ with our supporters groups so that they could do it. But there's nothing better than drums beating and vuvuzelas inside an arena, because it is loud and it's awesome. I mean, it gets annoying sometimes with the vuvuzelas of the kids, but when it's in sync and they're really going at it, it creates a home field advantage for us. So we definitely encourage that.
Let me go back to the female aspect of it all. I know there's a women's national soccer league, and we know that the Memphis women's national team is as good as there is in the world. Is there an indoor women's league at all? Would this be the first time that women are playing the sport professionally?
Yeah, and that's pretty exciting to be part of that, because all of us that have been involved in the formation of the league, I mean, we all have daughters, and to be able to kind of create something new that's going to give girls an opportunity, not only to play professionally indoor, but also to have those mentors and role models, in the community. And right now, I mean, there isn't a women's professional sport in the greater Memphis area. So this is going to be something great for the community.
Just a warning, by the way, that great women's team from the University of Memphis that lost, unfortunately, the NCAAs yesterday, 13 of them,
close.
13 of them are from Canada, just so you know.
Wow.
Okay. You better find housing.
I'll tell you what, those guys do a great job, both the men's and the women's programs over at University of Memphis. And, you got some legends on the coaching staffs over there. So
yes.
We've had some talks with them, but yeah, we definitely want to try to tap into some of that great talent once they graduate.
So what would be the first thing, now that you've had this press conference and you've gotten that out of the way, what's the first one or two things that you're going to do pertaining to this Memphis Americans franchise?
I mean, my focus right now is to secure a head coach, and then also a general manager on the business side. So, we've already started the process, but, with the announcement, I mean, really it's been blowing up. So, we're gonna have hundreds and hundreds of candidates between the two positions, and we're probably going to take a little bit more time than initially planned. But those are the two big focuses. Once we get the head coach and the coaching staff hired, then they can start the recruiting process, start reaching out to coaches. And on the business side, we got to get active in the community. So we really need to get that front office, hired as soon as possible, and start getting our faces out in the community.
Best of luck. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, honestly, Andrew Haynes. who is, I guess, the main owner of the Memphis Americans, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you in the future. I'm a big indoor soccer fan. I was involved with the old Memphis Americans as their announcer, so I have a real warm spot for that team, and I hope this thing is a big hit for you.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Andrew.
That is Andrew Haynes, and this will be a lot of fun. Indoor soccer, you love hockey.
I love
a
hockey.
lot of principles of hockey.
I'm kind of excited.
And you can see the ball a lot better.
Yeah. I'm excited, especially if they bring the outdoor soccer atmosphere with the Zalas and the drums and the chants inside. I'm really looking forward to it.
See, that's what they do. This portion of the show brought to you by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That's also where you will find Genesis of Olive Branch. That technology is so good on both those automobiles. You know, Hyundai's the safest car in the world. You know, the Genesis cars are the best luxury car for the dollar. That's just fact on both those fronts. And here's the other thing. Durable. A 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every car and service. Well, Chris True has raised the bar at Highway 78 and Craft Road, and they've gotten actually a little bit bigger. They're always building up on this incredible facility, and they're going to have more of the G cars in there. I promise you that. Sooner or later, they'll get more of the GV80s. We got a GV70, a smaller SUV from Genesis coming. But service, like I say, every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. So if you want to be taken care of and you want to see the best product in the world, all you got to do is go see my friends at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in a minute. It'll be crunch time.
You have opinions.
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call the First Bank phone line at 360-8255 or text us on the First Bank text line at 70236.
Hey everybody, summer road trips are coming, and I'm out here in Olive Branch driving all the new Silverados, Tahoes, and Equinox at All Star Chevrolet. You gotta drive the new Blazer or the third row seat Traverses. Thousands in cash back and financing as good as 0 for 72, and All Star Chevy has dozens of demos for sale. The now famous best deal in town. And hey, if you want to sell your Chevy, car, truck, or SUV, bring it to All Star Chevrolet and get the check today. They'll beat any legitimate offer you get by a lot. That's any 2015 to 2021 with less than 75,000 miles. And the certified Chevy pre-owned lot is packed. But our friends at All-Star Chevy want more. So bring yours with title and you'll get your check today. Remember, it's not Mount Moriah, not Covington Pike, not Collierville or South Haven. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everyone at All-Star Chevrolet has one job, just one job, to make sure that you have more fun, get the best deal, and in record time. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road or online at allstarautogroup.com.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Looking for a new home? Trying to sell your old home? Call Rule Smith of RE/MAX Experts for all your real estate needs. Buying or selling, you need a real estate expert like Rule Smith, 901-304-7827. Rule Smith is licensed in Tennessee with a decade of experience in the greater Memphis area. He knows the ins and outs of buying and selling a home, and he makes it easy for you. Count on Rule Smith's honest, no-nonsense approach to get the home you want, the home you need, and the home you can count on. Whether it's your first home, your next home, or your dream home, call real estate professional Rule Smith, 901-304-7827. That's 304-7827. Visit yourgermantownagent.com today. Again, yourgermantownagent.com. Call Rule Smith's cell phone today, 901-304-7827, or call the RE/MAX Experts office at 901-685-6000. And let Rule Smith rule your real estate needs.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
It's time, Memphis. Join John Morant, Tyus Jones, and your Memphis Grizzlies Friday, April 30th at 7 p.m. as they take on the Indiana Pacers, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Check out Grizzlies.com/tickets today.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Final portion of our Thursday. It's brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the Visa gift card. Give back if you want to buy a brand-new Carrier Select Infinity system. You'll get a $1,500 Visa gift card back from Carrier. If your system needs 2 units, upstairs, downstairs, front of the house, back of the house. Now we're talking $3,000. I know. Everybody could use $3,000 in their pocket, and there's more. John's going to give you an April air cleaner. That'll get the dust out of your home, a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat. Plus, Conway's made it easy with a payment plan as low as $139. Everybody could afford that. All you got to do is call 384-3511, 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. It's crunch time.
It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins.
Boop. What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
On 1, on 2, on 3. Hey.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Learned a few things today, Drew. Baseball, by the way, an afternoon game. Cardinals beat the Phillies 4-3 in extras. I double-checked on Bryce Harper. I think he is okay. They did a CAT scan. He seems to be all right. Also, we learned the Packers reportedly told Aaron Rodgers, this comes from Trey Wingo, they were going to trade him in the offseason. When they backed off, it has been bad between the two ever since. And within the last week, Rodgers told the team, trade me or no trade. I'm not coming back. We'll see if this thing really holds true and if that adds to the drama of the draft with some trades tonight.
We will see. I learned today, you mentioned a little afternoon baseball. Orioles are winners on West Camden Street against the Yankees in extras as they won 4-3. Learned this actually Tuesday night. Meant to mention it yesterday. I have to mention it today, otherwise that'd be the worst SID in SID history. On Tuesday night in the Tigers softball game against Central Arkansas, they lost in extras in 9 innings, but center fielder Delaney Smith did have 2 stolen bases, getting her to 79 total stolen bases in her career at the University of Memphis, making her the new Memphis record holder for stolen bases. So congratulations to Delaney Smith.
All right. And you'll get to see her this weekend, folks, if you want. There's a game tomorrow at 5. You can see it on ESPN Plus, by the way. Or you can watch a doubleheader, the first game on ESPN Plus on Saturday at 2. But come on out to the ballpark. It's supposed to be a beautiful day on Sunday. I guess I could have done without not listening to myself. You know who's on top? of the Valspar Championship in Tampa? Keegan Bradley. Keegan, I told John Goen, Keegan Bradley. He said, there's a flaw in Keegan Bradley.
That's what I could have done without today. I don't think my $1,110 payout on Austin Cook on the $3 bet is going to pay out because he's +1.
He's tied for 92nd.
Yeah, I don't think I need to hold my breath for the big payday.
No, we're going to watch tonight for sure the NFL draft. That'll take place on all three, ABC, ESPN, and the NFL Network. It will come your way in about an hour and 4 minutes. For those of you that don't want to watch that, you can watch the Cubs and Braves. That's going to be on Bally Sports Southeast, and that starts in just a couple of minutes. We want to thank Bill Bender for his expertise on the draft today. Keith Smith, Paul Rogers on the Derby, Greg Gaston talking Tigers, and Andrew Haynes from the new Memphis Americans. Have a great night, everybody.
Golf fans, breaking news. Just over the Mississippi Bridge in Marion, Arkansas. Come join Sports 56 to celebrate the grand opening of Cypress View Golf and Recreation, located just over the bridge at 303 Club Circle in Marion. Sports 56 will be live at Cypress View